It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
It's you liberals who have lifted them up, Howard.
Paul, you conservatives make a mistake. You can't afford to strangle hope in people. Without hope, people become dangerous.
No, Howard. You liberals have let them invade our society. You give them jobs, political jobs.
Paul, you missed the point. It's only the smart ones we move up.
That makes it even worse.
No, we have to move them up. If we leave a smart one in the ghetto, he might develop into a leader against us. But if we raise him up into white society, we neutralize him.
It really boils down to our ability to accept. We don't need pessimism.
What he means by pessimism is resistance. And that's what COINTELPRO was all about, stopping the resistance.
I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change.
We hide it in plain sight. One of Plato's greatest works was the allegory of the cave. I feel in order to understand the political matrix, we need only to look into this allegory. We first have to open our minds to the possibility everything is not as it seems, that things we've always known to be truth may be lies. For if we can't perceive the lies we've ingested, we can't see the bars on our mental conditioning. For that is how you walk out of the cave and see the political matrix. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Political Matrix. Goodness gracious, sorry, it's been a while since I've used my mic, and so trying to get adjusted to some of these things. Apologies, I don't know if that actually muted it or not, but hopefully I didn't sneeze too loud in everybody's ears. And let me know how my vocals sound, if my mic is okay. I know I'm sounding a little bit nasally. My allergies are bothering me. But yes, I am here. Apologies for running a little bit late. And hola, babies. Good to see you. Likewise. So let me throw some shout outs. I see some people in the chat. Definitely shout out to my brother Tom over there. Say hello to Jacqueline or Jackie. Miguel, what's up? Atres, what's up, my brother? Mac, what's up? And to all the other lovely people who are out there listening to us, much respect. Glad you guys are here. And for those who are just hanging out in the background and who just more like to listen than get involved in the chat, or if you are busy doing something. I know I listen to a lot of different podcasts and different things while I'm at work, and so a lot of times I'm not able to hop into the chat and respond, but I am listening. So appreciation to all of those people also who was giving us their time to listen to the things that I have to say. Till I'm not gonna say she definitely won't be here, but Till is out tonight doing some things, and she may be in later. I kind of gave bad communication on my behalf on letting her know what time that I was gonna get started. So up late last night, slept in, and didn't get everything situated. So that's my bad, not on Teal. So just wanted to put that out there. But I know that's the reason why the show looks a little bit different. So I've been trying to took a little bit longer setting up, trying to get some of these things situated, using my mic. After last show, we got with T-Mobile to try to get this thing situated and fixed. So hopefully I'm not glitching out and no problems. I think that sounds a little loud. But yeah, hopefully we're gonna have a great show. Of course, we definitely got to talk about the little blue wave, I guess, that just happened. Democrats win big. What does it mean? I don't have the time to really update the title yet. I updated the thumbnail, which I might go back and change the title later on. But that's just one of the topics that I want to get into. I also want to get into some of the AI robot thing that I saw. It's kind of weird, a little crazy. I didn't know if it was real or not, but I'm hearing that it definitely is real. So I definitely want to talk about that. There's been a recent interview with Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes. And so I did want to dive a little bit into that. And what does that mean from somebody who was one of the most, I guess you can say, canceled voices on the right, who's now become kind of a mainstay and kind of one of the bigger voices and most influential voices on the right, is now getting a lot of steam right now. So I guess we'll talk about that too. And what else did I have on my list? Talk about right off the bat. Oh yeah, I was going to do a reaction and review. Warning, spoilers. So when we get to that point, it will be spoilers because I know Chris has asked me about it, so we're definitely going to talk about it. Okay, Mac is Chris H. Gotcha. But I'm going to give my thoughts on that, and I guess since it's just me and it's going to be a winding show, you guys can jump in and ask me any kind of questions that you want. Free for all tonight. And I will answer as best as I can. Jackie, before the end of the show, please remind me to reach out to you. I know we're following each other on Twitter now, or X, whatever, and need to make sure to get some information from you. That said, I want to start off with this video from Secular Talk, Kyle Kulinski, going into some of those races, and of course I'll stop it here and there to lay in my thoughts. But yeah, that's kind of where I wanted to start with this and just jump straight in. She said she just needs someone to remind her. Hilarious. So, of course, we knew that Kyle Kulinski was going to jump all over this. So I skipped the kind of cringy, like, libtard celebration he does at the beginning of it. And I just wanted to first and foremost put out there, I'm not covering it as a yay, we've won. I mean, it's a pyrrhic victory. It's not like I'm happy, like I'm some kind of happy Democrat over here. That's not the case. But I will explain as I get into this. So here's the video. Let me mute up and let's play.
I think it is literally impossible to even craft a scenario, even a fictional scenario you make up in your head, one that's better than what we witnessed last night. I mean, there's nothing the Republicans have to hold on to. There's not a silver lining. There's nothing. They're just cooked. They're just done. They're just obliterated. They're just barbecue chicken. Maybe the most brutal shellacking that I've seen in my fucking lifetime. All right, so we're going to talk about that, of course. Zoran lights up Trump in his defiant victory speech. I love that. MAGA copes and seethes over Zoran's win. Got some videos on Fox News and, some people from the Cuomo headquarters who were absolutely losing it. That was glorious. Trump panics over the Democratic tsunami. And then later on, we will talk more about this Republican civil war that's happening. Fuentes fired back at Shapiro and Mark Levin. You don't want to miss that one. Graham Plattner shocked everybody with his Dick Cheney comments on the day that Dick Cheney died. Look, let me just say, November 4th might have to become a little bit of a lefty holiday, dog, if you really think about it. It might have to become we have Zoran blowing out the competition. We have Democrats winning wall to wall. We have Prop 50 passing, but with flying fucking colors. We have all of the coping and the seething and the crying for MAGA. And something happened to a little guy by the name of Dick Cheney in the morning. So, holy cow, bro. Holy cow. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right in because, like I said, I got a lot of stuff to get to. Let's start with this. We knew it was going to be a bad night for the right when this information first came in. So the exit polls from CNN, in Virginia, of the people that voted, only 41% approve of Trump, 56% disapprove. That's minus 15. Minus 15. This was a race. It was supposed to be like Abigail Spanberger was like +6 in the polls. She ended up winning by 15 points. She ended up winning by 15. In New Jersey, only 43% of the voters approved of Trump. 55% disapproved. That's minus 12. Same thing. Very, very similar margin there. In fact, I think I have the.
In which I want to hop in already. When he's talking about, oh, should be like a lefty holiday and all that. Oh my goodness, what's being considered the left has been so stretched. And it's even hilarious to see somebody like Kyle, who considers himself a part of the left, to continue in the stretching. Yes, some people who could sort of be considered leftist ideology, one, but mostly just Democrats, one. That's the reason why I title it, big wins for Democrats, because a lot of these people are going to be standard issue Democrats. Some of the people who are so-called leftists, even unabated, I don't think that they're going to put forth any kind of theoretically real leftist views that anybody who considers themselves a hardcore leftist in general would akin to or atone to, or not bad wording. What's the word? That would acknowledge that that's stuff that they really, really wanted. Now, again, anybody who's right of center considers anything to the left of them, leftist, communist, Marxist, whatever, how they just kind of throw all those terms as if they're all interchangeable. And I get why they do that, because I think it's a little bit of projection, because a lot of people on the right tend to check those same boxes. A lot of people who may be Republican, may be conservatives, may be evangelicals, maybe, and so sometimes you could call that person interchangeably the same. I don't feel like the so-called left, when it gets down to the people, I'm not talking about the politicians. The politicians, most of them are all mainstream, whatever. But I'm talking about when you're describing the people on the ground. You got some people who are economically leftists and who care about social issues. Who are more, I would say, socially conservative. You got people who are more economically more moderate, but then their politics is about, so-called far left ideology. You got people who are single issue voters on the left who they only care about abortion. Abortion is their number one thing. Then you got some people who they only care about LGBTQ issues. And then you got some people who really they might have had a school shooting happen, and so they care about Second Amendment stuff. Like they're trying to do gun bans and stuff. So I feel like a lot of people that would be left of center fall into many more camps and are often grouped in as all the same thing. Whereas on the right, it's less different categories and groups of people, but yet they see themselves so massively different. Now, granted, libertarians are kind of the odd man out, where they don't necessarily align with a lot of the things. They may line up on tax policy, freedom of speech, gun rights, some of those things like that. But mostly everything else is kind of where they kind of divide. But the bulk of the Republican Party, the bulk of the people who kind of run things, most of them all kind of agree, and which is kind of weird, because it's kind of the same thing when you looked at the so-called left and the so-called right. The people who are in power, for the most part, on both sides, they can all check. All of these different boxes where they all agree. And then when you have the libertarians or independents who lean more to the right, that's where you start to see the individuality kind of come in. And there's a little bit of different, policies and viewpoints. Whereas it's kind of the same thing on the so-called left, where once you get outside of the establishment Democrats, then you start to have the people who would really actually be communists, or really just about abortion, or really just about whatever. It's kind of like when I looked into different things on some of these called trans shooters that are for political expediency put into a category of, oh, this is a left, but this is a right, when really is somebody who only cared about one thing. They didn't spend enough time to give a shit about taxation and Second Amendment and this and that. They only cared about what was going on in their personal life. And so it kind of excludes them, in my eyes, from being grouped to one side or the other. It all just groups and falls under mental health. But, you know, that's my little diatribe. Oh, the other thing that I was going to say is this whole holiday for people on the left. I guarantee you, even a lot of people who would be considered themselves left who supported Mamdani, I highly doubt they supported Abigail Spanberger and a lot of these other Democrats who got voted into power. But I digress. I'll let Kyle continue.
The specifics here. So Abigail Spanberger won 57.5% of the vote. Her opponent, Winsome Earl Sears, won 42%. And so it's 15-point victory for the Democrat running for governor of Virginia. The Democrat running for governor in New Jersey got 55% of the vote up against this guy, Jack Ciattarelli. Now, the funny thing is, the Republicans really liked this guy. They thought he had the best chance.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to hop in real quick and say this one part. This is something Tom said. Stop voting. I completely agree. I don't vote. I feel like if we all stop voting, then it would help, you know, discredit the system, because by us voting in this system, where we're giving false choices, it's almost like we're approving of the crap that they're doing to us. So by voting within the system, you give the system credibility. And I'm definitely with not giving this corrupt system credibility. Now, if we had legitimate people who believe like Mamdani or believe like Bernie Sanders, or who believe like Pelosi, or even believe like Chuck Schumer, or who believe like Trump, or people who, because I don't believe Trump is a real ideologue. Oh, let me think of somebody else. Or Marco Rubio. If we had some of these people, what's Mike Johnson? If we had some people who kind of did politics the way they did, and I believe that this is how they really felt outside of campaign contributions and pressure and possible opportunities in the future, that would be one thing. I would be perfectly fine. Even if I completely 1000% disagree with them, I would care about the system and be engaged in that system if I felt like I was just bumping heads with people who just don't agree with me. And it's just a difference of opinion, not that it's a difference of opinion because this person is paid to be this way. But sorry, and I don't know. I'll try to use that term, left establishment. I mean, it's more fitting because I want to say out of all of these so-called wins, most of them would be left establishment. And so how much of a choice is it really? How much did you really win? And the only way that I really see it as a win more than anything is it took an out of control Trump administration and Republicans just in general who've just kind of went crazy and said, hey, here's a check, which in my kind of cynical way of doing things and seeing things, I almost felt in order for you to have people to kind of like actually give a damn and say something and care about the system, is people have to feel pain and pressure. And so though I don't agree with Chuck Schumer, I agree with the way he went about things. You have people who are within the political like elites and stuff talking about the Democrats need to do this and they need to do that and they need to fight more. Chuck Schumer was like, no, we need to kind of pull back, because I've always felt if you allowed the establishment Republicans, if you allowed them to do their agenda unabated, they're the biggest advocate against themselves. because their policies are not thought out. Their policies are not successful. They're destructive without checks. And sometimes you just got to let somebody go to do what they're going to do and give them enough rope, as they say. Perfect example, my home state, state of Kansas. The Republicans had super majorities, had the governorship, and they did whatever the hell they wanted to and almost bankrupted the whole state. That's what I think when it gets to that point, people will understand, oh, crap, these people don't really know what the fuck they're doing. And then they get relegated. Now, is the corruption still going to be there? Yes. Are there still going to be problems and hiccups in the system? Yes, because this system is designed with the hiccups and problems as the feature, not the bug. But it will limit some of these things back and at least give an environment where somebody who is resilient and who can fight through the BS can still be able to have a decent life. So that's my thoughts there. Let's see. Jackie says, it doesn't really matter how the Dems are doing in these elections. In the next U.S. presidential elections, the Dems will put up another lame candidate who will run on the platform, I am not Trump. Oh, without a doubt. I mean, I don't even think they're going to have to say I'm not Trump. I think because the Trump administration has gotten so much into their echo chamber of believing all news is fake, that anybody who says anything negative about us, they're just haters, they're liars, it's all fake news. When there are real warning signs for them and that they are in trouble with the masses as a whole, they won't comprehend it. And then they'll just be stuck with lose an election massively and then claim that, oh, well, they must have cheated. Oh, they didn't cheat. You were just so high on your own supply. You didn't realize how unpopular you really were. Just like I say, that's a big part of what happened last time. Now I know we're rehashing things about the election. Some people believe it was completely stolen. I believe every election there's manipulation and corruption if you look for it. Every single one of these. None of these elections happen straight up. But here's the thing. It happens both ways. It's not, oh, well, the Democrats just cheated Trump. Yeah, Trump's people were cheating also. And Bush people were cheating, and Gore's people were cheating, and Obama's people were cheating, and Hillary's. Every election this happens. I mean, it's like watching an American football game and complaining about one or two calls. Well, what about the other 15 calls that were missed the whole damn game? So it's always convenient for somebody to find their excuse to complain about this or complain about that. But when it comes down to it, there's cheating, there's rigging on both sides. Always, it is what it is. But let's continue. Oh, there it is.
They really liked him. Like, he was somebody that they thought was like going to be a star in the future. He got blown the fuck out. He got blown.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I do got to look at these numbers, though. These numbers are... If you say that there's not any cheating, and let's just say there was no major cheating, this is a massive... And if you look at it, it didn't matter. Anybody who just put a D on their name, that's all you had to do in this election. What that tells me is the Trump... This is more of a vote against the Trump administration. It's not necessarily advocating for the Democrats. It's just saying, we don't like what the hell is going on right now. We need to see some fucking changes. I don't believe we're going to see that. That's the reason why I believe more than likely we might be looking at a scenario where we're saying, hello, President Newsom. I know you guys don't want to hear that, but I'm just saying, keeping it real.
Out because MAGA's destroying this country, and people were like, we're going to fucking teach them a goddamn lesson for what they've done. All right, more. Zoran Mamdani. He cracked the number that was viewed as like anything above this, and it's a bloodbath beyond bloodbaths, right? And he did. If he got 50% or higher, it was just humiliating for everybody else, because what that says is even if Sliwa dropped out and Cuomo got all of Sliwa's votes, then he still wouldn't have won. And that's what it was. It was Zoran got 52% of the vote. Andrew Cuomo got 30. Curtis Sliwa got 18. Of course, Prop 50 in California not only passed, it overwhelmingly passed. 64% voted in favor. Even in Republican districts in California, they voted for Prop 50. Isn't that something? That's fascinating to me. That's incredible to me. All right, more. How about this? So this was quite a moment, and this really was just, this just shows you, this is like a great example of what the rest of the night was like right here. So this is literally as soon as the California polls closed, watch what happened.
U.S. House maps, and we can make a projection in California. The polls are closed as of now, and CNN projects the Californians have indeed voted yes on the state's newly drawn congressional district map, aiming to help Democrats win an additional up to 5 U.S. House seats in the 2026 midterm elections in 1 year.
And it's over. And the polls close, and we're done. It's over. They wins overwhelmingly, easily. So this was, of course, Gavin Newsom counter gerrymandering because the right was gerrymandering in Texas. And he said, okay, well, to keep it fair now, we have to gerrymander. And this was, again, 64% of the vote said, yeah, we got to do that. Like, there's no way around it. Ironically, it's the only way to make it fair. If they cheat, we have to counter cheat to make it fair, right? It's just simple logic. And so the voters obviously clearly agreed. There were literally lines to vote for. This was the only thing on the ballot, Prop 50, the only thing. There were lines. And, people did their civic duty. How about this one? There were 13 flips in the Virginia House. Democrats flipped 13 seats. That is unreal. Just unreal. The facts are going to get crazier and crazier as we go here, too. How about this one? Every single county in Virginia shifted to the left. So Abigail Spanberger outperformed Kamala everywhere, and Winsome Earl Sears underperformed Trump everywhere. So just to give some examples, Loudoun County shifted 12 points to the left. Prince William, 16 points to the left. Portsmouth, 8 points to the left. You scroll down here, it's massive shifts fucking everywhere. This is like total domination is what it is. Total domination. All right, we also have this. This one, I believe this one was Georgia. So in Georgia, Democrats flipped like seats that literally nobody thought were going to be remotely in question. Like they thought this is it. We might not even try. Like, why would we even try in these seats? They're so overwhelmingly pro-Trump. So a Trump plus 24 county went to a Democrat. They flipped it and they ended up winning by a point. That's crazy. A 25-point swing? That's insane. And that's not even the biggest swing of the night. That's not even the big. So Democrats won some seats in Georgia that they haven't held since like the fucking Carter administration or something like that. How about this one? Exit polling of young men, 18 to 29. In Virginia, they voted for the Democrat, Spanberger, plus 14. In New Jersey, they voted for the Democrat, Sherrill, plus 10. In New York City, they voted for Zoran by 40 points. So I said, guys, I predicted a lot of this shit. So I said when I was on a different podcast, I said, I was asked about, hey, what do you make of like the Republicans making gains with minority communities? It was Josh Citarella's podcast. And I said, it ain't gonna be like that for long. Like it's gonna like revert back immediately. That's exactly what happened. So it happened with minority communities.
And I knew this was going to happen also. And the reason why I knew this was going to happen is because when I heard a lot of people's reasoning for why they were supporting Trump, many of them said, oh, because the economy was better under Trump under the first term. Completely ignoring COVID. If you don't really understand what went on with the politics of COVID, now I'm not talking about, I'm not going into the weeds about mandates and all that stuff. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just the event itself. How much of and I'm not even going into why or none of that stuff. Just bear with me on this part right here. We're going to just keep it simple. Anytime you have a massive disruption like that in the economy, it is going to tank numbers. Now, this is what I'll say, whether people believe that it was a conspiracy or not. What I'm trying to say is the fact that it happened was going to affect Biden's numbers, period. And so it was going to make his numbers look worse than Trump's. Does that mean that Trump really had the better economy? Oh, it's subjective. You gotta weigh things in and see how they affect the different things. But what I knew is if you compare the United States recovery after the pandemic, how we recover compared to any other state, the United States recovered better. Now, does that mean that Biden was doing a great job? No. It just means that our economy, which has kind of been on autopilot for many years, except for major hiccups that throw it off track. You can throw any president in there, it's going to kind of run perfectly fine as long as somebody doesn't throw monkey wrenches in the plan. Some of the stuff which the Bush administration did threw monkey wrenches in the plans, and it jacked everything up, and then you had collapses, stock market collapses. And that went to certain deregulations and things like that. With this, the pandemic affected the economy. And with Trump right now, the tariffs are affecting the economy. If he didn't put in these tariffs and just let everything run on the autopilot, which the system has kind of been running on, he would have an outstanding economy right now and been able to make that argument that, oh, well, see, the Trump policies are working perfectly fine without doing a damn thing. Because, like I said, most of the way the economy works, the numbers and all that is set on autopilot. President doesn't have to do much, but it's very easy for you to touch a couple of things and fuck everything up. And that's what I believe we're seeing. Mexico thrived during COVID. Yeah, I mean, some countries still did okay, did well, but I'm talking about globally. Most of the Western nations suffered economically during the pandemic. And it's because most of them as a whole went to government lockdown. I mean, well, not government lockdowns, but nationwide lockdowns. And when they went into those lockdowns, it hurt business. And so if you don't have people out there shopping in the same way that they used to, you don't have people going to the store, you don't have people using as much gas, you don't have people using as many resources as a whole, it's going to affect the economy, period. And the way our economy is it's a ripple effect. If one thing's affected over here, it affects somebody over here, and this affects this over here. Everything is connective tissue, but many people don't look at it that way. If everybody's not going to the movie theaters, for example, because of COVID, movie theater more than likely has to start laying off some of those people. Also, the person who owns that theater is not making as much money. That means he's going to be saving money. That means he's not going to be spending as much money on whatever stuff he normally would. Say he goes on vacations or this resort or whatever. Well, that's another thing. Resorts and all those are going to be shut down. They're not bringing in money. Tourism is going to be dead. There's so many ways which the pandemic destroyed economies for places. Now, I'm not saying every place, because every place is not equal, but and you can always, and that's what I say, we leave this asterisk in there. You can always question or second guess the way they decided to respond to this. You can even second guess if this was man-made to put out there in various different ways. If it was man-made as in, oh, well, there was really nothing to worry about. Oh, it's just a common cold, whatever people believe. Whether it was, well, it was real, but it was manufactured. Okay, but by who? Do you believe that, like, President Biden was the one who, like, said, I'm going to come up with this in a lab so that I could throw off the presidency? No. Things like that, even if that's what happened, it goes levels way above a president. That's all I'm saying. So so yeah, let's hop back into it. Oh, and so I knew once Trump got in and he started doing some of the things he did in the first part, the tariffs and stuff, and he was going to be completely unrestricted to just do whatever Trump wants to do. Keep in mind, this man bankrupted a casino. If you look at Trump's business record, because I know he's known as a businessman, Trump has always been a bad businessman. He's never been good at business. I know he gets the moniker that he's this great businessman, but he's not. He's really not a good businessman. If, as somebody who's read multiple books on this dude, he's not good at business. He's good at branding. That's the only thing Trump is good at. He's good at branding and bullshit. And so because he's able to bluff and bolster his name up to a top, he's been able to use it and market off of his name. And if you really want to dig into his books, I guarantee you'll find money coming from every corrupt individual organization outside the United States. Even inside the United States, I guarantee you there's so much mob money that's like being washed in Trump, businesses. There's probably, Chechnyan rebel money. There's probably Al Qaeda money, Taliban, ISIS, Israeli, syndicate money. There's money probably coming from everywhere, and it's not good because Trump doesn't give a damn. And so I guarantee you, there's a lot of his money that's propped up his empire has been dirty money. Not that most of these corporations are running on the up and up, but I'm saying directly from organized crime. And so when people try to, Trump, we got to trust Trump because Trump is this great business. No, the fuck he's not. You motherfuckers don't know this dude. Anybody who's just really paid attention to Trump over the years will know he's not that. He's not that dude. He's not him. See, Trump installed to sell off U.S. to PayPal mafia. I don't know how much I believe that necessarily, because more and more these days, I've been just kind of looking at, don't get me wrong, I'm still a conspiracy theorist by nature. But I need more evidence than what a lot more people I see within my circles have kind of went with. Many more people they get one, they get two, they run with it. I'm one of those people, I just like to be a little bit more certain before I say, yes, this is what I believe. And what I believe is, if you just look at Trump's whole history, Trump he's kind of more beliefs-wise, kind of more nihilistic. He don't believe anything but money and him. And so the dude will sell any damn thing to anybody and doesn't give a shit about anything. And so as long as he's taking care of him and his circle, in his mind, everybody's great because he's great. He's doing good. So that's just how I see it. And I don't think he really gives a damn. I mean, when the dude's like, oh, well, I heard this great thing called like groceries. I mean, this dude is not in touch with normal people's realities at all. Jackie says, I heard a story where Trump was walking with someone in New York and saw a homeless man and said, I have less money than that homeless man. Not sure. Yes, that is true. Trump. Oh, shoot. Let me put the comments on the screen. There we go. But this dude lives in such a weird mental state, not mentally sound. So I kind of just wanted to show a little bit about that call thing. I don't want to show this whole thing. Let me hop over here and see if there's anything else I wanted to go to, because he just starts going through it. Like, I mean, I'm telling you, Democrats won in Kansas and Georgia and Virginia, of course, New Jersey. Mamdani won massively. This is more the Georgia. Dude, they won in Mississippi. Like, look at this number right here. That just dropped off of a cliff. This is Virginia. And Virginia is controlled by Republicans. So tell me how you can't make an excuse that the Democrats rigged these elections when Republicans are in power and have control of all of this, of running the elections and stuff. This is where, like, some of the conspiracy theory stuff, I'm like, I don't really rock with that. Also, the fact of, in my military experience, there's so much shit that goes wrong that's minor shit. I have yet to see anything that any of these private aerospace and DARPA company, not DARPA companies, but DARPA projects go through without a hitch. All of this shit is malfunctions. A lot of it just doesn't even freaking work. I can't tell you how many recalls and stuff they had on the Joint Strike Fighter, the F-22, which that was supposed to be the new fighter plane to replace like the F-16, F-18, F-14. It was supposed to be like, oh, this all-in-one great thing, supposed to replace everything. When I was in, perfect example, as a torpedoman, you have Mark 46 torpedoes and you have Mark 48. And Mark 46 are for topside fixed planes and helos. And then you had 48s, which are for subs. They were trying to come up with an intermediary torpedo that was supposed to be versatile to use in all circumstances. You can get rid of the having the 46 and the 48s. As far as I know, they've been working for 40 years on that and still haven't got that shit to work right. So when I hear how much they struggle on something which has all the backing, which is not done behind closed doors, which, I mean, they've had every way to, and this is stuff which can be done in more of a controlled environment. It's a lot harder for me to believe stuff where you got to do this massive project and do it all clandestine, but it's in front of everybody's face that you're going to be successful. And also that nobody's going to leak that you did this. So that's the reason why it's like some of this stuff, I don't be buying it. It feels good and it sounds good to make an excuse for stuff that doesn't make sense to us to just jump to a conspiracy. But some of the stuff, I just don't rock with it. That's just me. But hey, I'm not going to say that I can't be proven wrong. I'm not going to say that somebody can say, well, but do you know about this evidence? I mean, I definitely leave myself open to it. I see Yonina's in the building. So what's up, Yonina? Oh, that's right. What else was it that I was going to say that he brought up while we still got Kyle on the screen? I know a lot of people are not lovers of Kyle. I am not a lover of Kyle, but it was one of the best videos I saw going through and breaking down the elections. Also, you had Mississippi, which lost its supermajority. You can't tell me that somehow some Democrats rigged the Mississippi elections. I just have a hard time believing that one. And on every level in that state, it's massively controlled by the right. And this isn't just the politicians. This is to the people. It is truly a right-wing state. And that's, you got a lot of people who are people of color who are on the right in those places too. So just putting that out there. Let me close this out. But I don't know. It's just interesting. It's just interesting to me. Let's see. What other story did I want to hop to next? Sorry, and I'm just going to my phone. That way I can remember. So, said maybe people are big mad in Georgia. Yeah, Georgia and Mississippi and those places. You're not telling me that some damn Democrats somehow snuck in and rigged them elections for the Republicans to lose. Nah. Exactly. Flip seats that were red. And that's the problem with sometimes people going overkill. Yes, did Trump win? Yes, he did. Did he win surprisingly? Yes. But you got to keep in mind, you just barely won. You don't have this massive mandate. Biden just barely won. He did not have a massive mandate. Before that, Trump, when he won, you just barely won. You do not have some massive mandate to reshape the country. I mean, the only president in recent years, I mean, Bush did not have a massive win in either of his initial election or his reelection. The only president that I can think of in my lifetime, well, there's two presidents in my lifetime that they can say they had mandates. Obama in his first term, and you could say Reagan. Those are the only two American presidents in my lifetime that could walk in and say, I do have a mandate to walk in here and do what I feel like doing. The rest of them is like, dude, you got to remember, you still got 50%, close to 50% of this country that doesn't like you, that's not rocking with everything. So you can't just do this, well, fuck them, I'm going to do whatever fuck I feel like kind of shit. That's the reason why we're going to keep having elections swing back and forth and back and forth. And I honestly believe that, let's see, in 2026, when the midterm elections come around, you're going to have another spanking that's going to be put on. If as long as Democrats keep their mouths kind of shut and just let Republicans keep going. I feel like when you try to step in and you try to stop the craziness that they're doing, then when things don't get all the way turned out, you still share part of the blame. Now, I know that that's kind of, maybe that's, I don't know what you would describe it. I'll let people decide how they feel about that analysis. But yeah, you might help some people out. You might make their life a little bit easier, but are they ever going to appreciate it? No, they're not. I feel like some of these people need to feel the pain. And that's the only way they're going to really acquiesce and start changing from the ridiculousness. Marcus, you're not going to talk about how RFK dipped on the dude who fainted at the Maha? I didn't know about it. Sorry. I honestly didn't hear about it. But it doesn't surprise me. I honestly looked at this whole Trump administration is full of nothing but cowards and grifters. All of them are cowards and grifters, because Trump can't have anybody who's not a yes man around. Oh Lord. Okay, I'm sorry to hear that, Yonina. But Trump's not allowing anybody who's not a yes man around him. So you're just gonna have a bunch of these people who are worried about their upward mobility and which corporation that they can move on to after the Trump administration is over with. And that's all they really care about. I feel like everybody in Washington, D.C. is selfish and transactional, and so that's what they're going to go after. That's what they're going to do. Excuse me. So let me pull up my next thing. Let's see. Is this the one? Hopefully I pull up the right thing. Who knows? I sent something to somebody in a group chat the other day, and it was the wrong video. Oh, I figured I would show this just in case. Warning, I do not know if this is an accurate video. I do not know if this is correct. And I'm not suggesting that this means anything at all. I just felt like if this is a real video, then I think it's worth sharing, and it's kind of interesting. So, let's see.
And I want to tell you about Rabbi Indig. Not when your numbers were up, when Adams dropped out. First day he called me up and told me, I like this guy, and I'm going to meet him no matter what the consequences are. He called me after he met you. He told me, this guy is a friend of the Jewish people. He's real, he's sincere, and I believe he's going to be the best mayor of New York City, and I'm going to go with him all the way. So this is who Rabbi Indig is, and he represents us all. So congratulations. Why do we have to waste a few weeks on becoming the mayor of New York City? We hope you come back. We believe you will, and you bring along. Eric is going to show you the directions how to get here. Almost here every week. If you're not, you ask Brad, David, everybody. So Thank you for coming. It's an honor.
Thank you so much.
We recently met and we found out that he's Jewish. His mother was Jewish, and his grandmother was Jewish. So, Mr. Mayor, we might find out very soon that you don't hang out with me. So, welcome to our community. And I want to tell you about Rabbi Indig. Not when your numbers were up, when Adams dropped out. First day he called me up and told me,
Actually, from listening to that video alone, I realized the deception that even got thrown towards me. A lot of people sent me this video. I sent this video to somebody also. What I caught, I really wish that I can see earlier in this video, because if you notice when he's saying his mother was and his mother, the rabbi is pointing at somebody. The rabbi is clearly pointing over here at some other guy saying his mother and his mother's mother and whatever. That's what he's saying. And then he turns to Mamdani and says, don't be careful if we find out that your parents are. Not saying that they are, definitely or not. A lot of people were sending that to me like, oh, look, he's secretly, he's a plant and this and that. And I'm like, I don't know that this dude's a plant. I mean, from what I've researched on him, on his history, he is Indian who grew up in Uganda, Africa. His mother, his father, his grandparents on both sides, going back and back and back and back and back, have been Indian. Now, some of them have believed in different Indian religions, and he's a Muslim, obviously, but that does not mean that he is secretly attached. And I get you got to do these pressers and events and shake hands with everybody when you're running for election. So I just kind of wanted to show that because I was like, I don't know exactly what this is, but in just watching it on a bigger screen than my phone, I was able to notice clearly his hand is pointing at somebody else saying he found that out, not Mamdani, which is what's been suggested by a lot of larger accounts. So for all I know, Larry Johnson here could have been one of the ones who was intentionally sharing this information, knowing it's not correct, knowing it's misleading. Or maybe he just didn't pay attention to that and didn't miss that part either, because somebody else chopped this video on purpose. Because I guarantee you, if you see this original video, you'll probably be able to see back and it's saying, oh, saying somebody's name, blah, 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 and a more backstory. So you're not easily just putting that onto Mamdani. But just wanted to share that, some of the things that's been kind of going around. I know also what you've had going around is, that's what I was going to see. I think it was in another Kyle one, which I'm not going to bring up. Let's see. Hey, babe. Hopefully you're safe out there. Let me drink some water. Only downside about doing a show by yourself, mouth gets dry. Well, not only downside, but the biggest. At the political matrix, his Mamdani is a Muslim, no shade against the Muslims. But actually, he's been getting shaded from a lot of Muslims. They've been like, oh, well, we don't like that type of Muslim because he's too accepting of everybody else. And I saw a video about, they're like, well, he wants to decriminalize, sex workers. It's like, oh, okay. Last I heard, to be involved with a sex worker, you kind of had to engage their services. So if you don't want their services, don't go get them. Okay, and so you're saying that you would rather have Cuomo over there doing what he's doing? I mean, I don't get some of the political protests of people that are out there. Don't get it. You're going to pick straws and go over nitpick Mamdani to put in who? Somebody who's far worse. I figure, hey, if you guys think he is this actual socialist, communist, or whatever, put him in there. See what happens. Trust me, the New Yorkers definitely have enough sway and power to be able to put pressure on him if need be. So see what he's going to do. Everybody talks about how communism, socialism, whatever never works, but yet you never ever really see it given an opportunity to even work. It's just people who scream it's never going to work without trying it. So let it work. Outside of some of these other countries that happened far back before most of us were born, but even then, the reason why those fell apart is typically because of war and authoritarianism. Try doing the policies without the authoritarianism, and who knows? We'll see. Just like you have capitalism that works in countries and capitalism that doesn't work. I just think that all of these different belief systems are nothing but systems and tools, and it's up for you to use them however you see fit. And you can make any of these things run negative, and you can make any of them run positive. It all depends on the person. You can have that noble king, which is the great ruler, or you can have that king that's a tyrant. So I don't believe any system is necessarily wrong. Let's see. Taking a photo op with Alex Soros is probably not good optics, but Mamdani, who was the best bunch of Cuomo and Sliwa. That's what I'm saying. You're gonna have to shake hands with the movers and shakers in New York, and all of them are pieces of crap. So the probability of you shaking hands with somebody whose ass is very high, especially in New York City. Nina says, thank you, Marcus. And half of them were supposedly against sex workers use escort services themselves. It'll come out the girlies talk when somebody's humble needs to be done. Exactly. I mean, if you came out with like a real scandal on Mamdani, then I would have an issue to come after him. Also, I heard a lot of people online who have just coming at him from the left perspective, like he's not going to be a true leftist. He's not going to do this. Even with Trump, though I despise Trump, though I can't stand Trump, my mindset was like, well, he fucking won, so fingers crossed. Hopefully it's not that bad. I mean, that's how it is once they're in office. I don't sit there like, oh, well, here we go. We got another Bernie who's not going to do anything. I mean, sometimes people got to stop being so negative. That's all I'll say on that whole thing. It was, I guess, let me drop that video down. But yeah, I just wanted to show that because I've been shared that video and I kind of questioned it, but now seeing it bigger, I see it very differently. I can tell that video from somebody who does videos and who had to edit could tell that was carefully edited, in which that's another thing which discuss me about this whole political landscape. There's so many people who are so freaking dishonest, who are just trying to form their narrative. And they know that they're like, what video was it? Some video about cannibalism. It was some kind of some kind of cooking show. And in that cooking show, they gave 3 choices of the different meats, and one of the choices that it had human flesh in it. The fact that somebody's coming out there complaining about what they believe is a real concern that's going on, that's something that they need to worry about, and then sharing a fake video, it tears apart your credibility, it tears apart your argument. And I wish, if you don't have an evidence, don't try to get people with guile. Don't try to trick people into believing certain things. Give them the evidence that you have. Stop manufacturing and trying to be like slimy to make things look a certain way. I don't know. I guess it's just something that's got under my skin, seeing a lot of things that go on, especially now on the internet, because I remember there was a brief period of the internet where you wanted to look for information. Boom, you got that right away. You got the correct information. You didn't have to sit there and double and triple and second guess most of it. Most of it was solid. Are you going to get some things where history got it wrong? Of course. But most of it was solid. Now, who freaking knows on half of this stuff? Who knows what to take in? And then now it used to be a time where people were conspiracy theorists and they literally laid out a theory. It was like, well, I don't know, but this is a possibility. Now it's everybody has a theory and their theory is fact. And that's where I think things get dangerous, because then you have people showing up to random houses and, you know, unloading on somebody, like what happened with the Pizzagate women who went to that parlor and attacked those people on faulty information. Let's see, what is this? It says Nick Cruz and Haz Al-Din been raking Mamdani over the coals. Due Distance has been saying this is a wonder someone like Mamdani could make it into NYC and laugh at the right-wing hysteria over him. Yeah, I look at it like this. I don't know. I wish Nick and Haas would just give it a little bit of time to actually see. Let somebody do something first before already jumping to being negative about them. I think the guys from Due Distance who live in New York, I think that they can probably better see what's going on. Also, when you're dealing with a mayor is very, very, very different than congressmen and senators and stuff like that. It's very different, especially the mayor of New York City. You're going to be able to tell if a mayor is doing something or not, because they actually have the power to really control things. If you got bad problems with your streets and your drainage are being full and now you're having flooding all the time, or there's these bridge construction that's been going on for 30 years and hasn't gotten done, they can actually go in and do things that can manifest actual change in your direct life where you can see it. You can't always see what some freaking senator, what bill that they passed that made a difference in your life. Though there are ones which are affecting your life positive and negatively every day. For the most part, unless you're digging and researching, you're not going to have a clue. But your mayor can directly do things that you notice. And so I feel like a mayor is very, very, very different than bitching about politics is the normal. And yes, NYC, well, the right wing in general have just been ridiculous. But that's what they're going to be for everybody is to the left of, the left of the most moderate person in the Republican Party. They despise. So it is what it is. While Trump is appealing the order, the Supreme Court wants people to start because they allow the pause on fully funded benefits. But here's the interesting thing about this comment here. If you really go into what somebody like a Grover Norquist used to say, and many other Republicans, they used to say this phrase: "We want government small enough that we can shrink it in the bathtub." So let's play with this phrase here. You want government small enough so you can snuff it out. Then that means you don't really want to use the government. So why are Republicans worried about even opening the government up if you don't even like the government? You don't really want the government. Why are you trying to get into government? Oh, that's right. You're trying to get into government to stop government. Well, right now you're stopping government. So technically you're doing what Republicans have always wanted to do with the government. What am I missing? And now you're blaming the other side because they're doing the will of what you wanted done. I don't know. Maybe somebody else can make that make sense, but it doesn't make very much sense to me. says Nick's too harsh and impatient with some people sometimes when they start slipping. You could be right. I don't know. I think part of I don't know. Hopefully this isn't taken as a slight, but I feel kind of more revolutionary blackout. It's a lot of just they rage on people. That's kind of what they do a lot. So without even watching the show, I can already expect it. I already knew they would be saying negative stuff about Mom Donnie without even knowing what they were going to say, because it just kind of seems like that's kind of what they do. Anybody who comes up, they're going to have something negative to say about them. So I don't think there's any candidate that's going to ever be put there that they're going to be happy with, because if you're also, I mean, it makes sense. If your ideology is communist, you're going to always feel nobody is going further enough to what you want done. So in a way, it makes perfect sense. If you're a communist and you want them to do the X, Y, and Z, and you know that they're never going to do that, I mean, I guess it's consistent with the brand to complain about them. So, I mean, it's just a different approach than I don't have the energy to be doing all the yelling that Nick do. I got too much going on also, and I don't want to spend all my time with all that extra stress on myself, being upset and angry about shit that most of us have no power on controlling and changing. So I go with life how it is, man. Let's see, my brother Emmanuel's in the building. What's up, brother? What's up? Sending my regards out to you and the boys. But yeah, on the whole Mamdani thing, I want to hear what New Yorkers have to say. I mean, Nick is in Kansas City. It's kind of like people who rage about Gavin Newsom, but you don't live in California. I mean, you don't even really know what's going on, and you're not living through what the hell he's doing. Even or the people who think Gavin Newsom is great. Now I get calling a spade, but for people who live out here, we got to deal with him in a different way. And so we see all of it. Now, I mean, I guess I'll give an exception to the rule, like my buddy Sabby out there. Sabby has been going at him about the reparation stuff, and I mean, hell, she got a good point. That's an issue that she's put a lot of energy into focusing on. Myself, I don't put as much energy towards it anymore. Not because I don't feel that not because I don't feel that Black people deserve reparations. Not that I don't feel like reparations should be paid out by this country. Not any of those things. I'm just so disillusioned in believing that it's going to happen that I don't even think about it anymore, because I see no reality where, I mean, I look at it like this. I get on social media and you see a woman that's like, hey, good morning, everybody. And her response is F you N-word. If this is the world we living in now, I don't see no kind of goodwill towards trying to get shit done or fixed. Now, granted, it is Elon Musk's Twitter, which encourages bigotry. I get that. It encourages xenophobia. I get that. But I just look at where we are right now in the world, and I know a lot of y'all don't believe in scripture, but one of them says in the last days, compassion will grow cold. And so people are they're going to start less giving a fuck about each other, period. So I imagine times to get harder. I imagine people are going to be more assholes. So I just kind of take it in. As you start getting older, you got to deal with, do you really want this political shit to start, giving you more grays and going balding and stress eating and possibly having a stroke or a heart attack over being stressed over shit that you really don't have any power of changing. I mean, not as an individual, I guess, granted, you can speak to enough people and you can help motivate and change the conversation, but I definitely don't feel myself or any of the people who are within our sphere have that level of influence. I feel like you need to almost get to, a Charlie Kirk level, a Nick Fuentes level. I mean, when you start getting to hell, even a Kyle Kalinske who has over 1 million people now, he uses that influence differently than I would. But when you start getting to that 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, views, I mean, not views, but subscribers, and you're getting a steady flow of people to be able to talk to evangelize in a sense, then you can actually start to move people in ways. And that's still minimal on the whole scale of how all this shit works. So I hate to sound like a pessimist to people, but I'm just giving my thoughts. Let's see what else. What'd you say, Yonina? What is this? Says Steve Bannon said if they lose the midterms, they're going to jail. After Trump is out of office, some of his people are definitely going to jail. Just know that for a fact. Some of these people are definitely going to jail. So, and here's the thing. The only thing that's going to save Trump, only thing that will save right wingers is they better find a way to turn this economy around real quick. Now, I heard somebody say, people will deal with a certain amount of authoritarianism, fascism, if they're getting something out of it. But people are not going to deal with all the crackdowns and all that shit for nothing. Hell, for a worse quality of life, people are not going to do that. So, Trump administration better pull this shit together. They better figure it out real fucking quick. Because if they don't, I don't think only is, of course, Trump can't run again. And I think even his little attempt at wanting to try to force some kind of third term, all that falls flat without an economy. And with Trump out, J.D. Vance will be next up leading front runner. I see no reality where J.D. Vance is able to win on what this administration has done. I don't see it. So the only way they even have a chance is that economy got to be like booming. I don't believe in an electoral system either, but I'm not going to be ranting about it. I mean, it's weird. How do you spend your time covering electoral politics, but you don't believe in an electoral system? Whatever. So, let's see. All right, now I'm caught back up. So I did start talking a little bit about politics. And let's see. Let me see if I can find this video real quick. Let me see. Let me see. Oh shit! Whoa! Shit! Computers doing all kind of crazy stuff. Nope! Stop that. Mute. Okay.
Not have gone better for Democrats. I mean it.
Sorry. Let's see. So pull up my next video. Reaction. That's what I wanted to find. Where is it at? Where is it at? 1 second. Yeah, never mind. I couldn't find the video that I wanted, so I'll just move on from it. But I've been seeing some of the reactions from Republicans, and it has been hilarious, to say the least. It has been hilarious. It's been a lot of cope. It's been a lot of, like, even Trump. Trump was like, well, I wasn't on the ballot. Okay, and I think even if you were on the ballot right now, they would have still did bad. But, you know, that's his narcissism speaking. He can't admit that, well, you know, a lot of people are probably pissed off because me and Republicans. And I've always, and here's the thing about it. I think people are starting to realize it's not just a Trump thing. It's not just a MAGA thing. This is Republicans, what they've always wanted to do. It didn't matter if it'd be Trump. It didn't matter if it's J.D. Vance. It didn't matter if it was, you know, what is it? Ron DeSantis or Ron DeSanctimonious, as he says it. I don't think it matters. I think any of these people, you would have the same thing, because if you look at it, what was it? Something for a new American century or something like that they proposed, and that was all the way back for Reagan. Basically, the Heritage Foundation and these Project 2025 type things have been going on from the Republican side for a long time. They have this giant manifesto going all the way back to the Inkwell and these different things that they, or what is it, the fountain pen? I don't know, some Ayn Rand type crap. They have this image in their head that if they do this and this and that, which most of this stuff is built off of false premises. If you start off with a false premise, you're always going to get a faulty endpoint. And that's the reason why their theories don't work out in reality, because the premises are always wrong. What was that comment there? Oh, yeah, this is a good one. I suppose I feel the same way of the U.S. Can't seem to get the significance. Can't get the significance of reparations. Plus, FBAs are trying to push black folks to MAGA. We know how MAGA feels about black people. Well, the reason why, like I get it, you being a Canadian, why it's different here. There's been not only the free wealth and labor that's been accrued to create the most powerful nation of all time. You didn't just have that initial labor. That's what reparations would have been for. Reparations would have been for not only that, of like all the land that was stolen even after slavery, about the businesses that were destroyed during Jim Crow, about all the black towns that were destroyed, about going into the civil rights era, about how funding was different, about redlining, about all the different jobs. There's so many reasons why Black Americans, why reparations make sense. And I also look at it this way, because I would hear Republicans like, well, why can't we just get past things and this and this and that? There was never an apology from America for slavery, never an official apology, never a rectifying of these things. Now, if you feel like, no, we're never going to rectify this, fuck them, get over it, you can do that. That's the United States prerogative, and people in this country's prerogative to do that. But what you are doing when you do that is you are making sure that wound is never going to get healed. You are making sure many black people are always going to feel that animosity towards people in this country and towards this country for this wound never being healed. And if you're fine with that, cool. But you're not going to get over it, and people just they're not going to get over it. Just not going to get over it. I mean, in my grandma's home state, my grandmother on my mom's side, they literally gave acres and acres and acres of free land to white people just getting off the boat for nothing. And they literally owed black people and were like, nah, fuck you. I mean, can you imagine like going out to dinner with some friends, and one of this friend, you've been paying for his dinner, his rent, all that for 3 years straight. And as soon as he gets some money, he gonna pay for everybody at the table but you? How are you gonna feel about it? It's gonna leave some fucking animosity. Especially when after they paid all that to you, you start treating that friend like shit. Beating on them, picking on them, bullying them, doing all that shit. You don't think that friend is going to feel a type of way about you. Thank you. Project for a New American Century. Y'all get it. I'm a little behind on my sleep, so apologies if I'm not as sharp and as crisp as normal. But it's just so many things that in this country that wounds that have just never healed. I would say Britain would probably owe reparations to all the Caribbean nations. That's where I feel their reparations is owed. I also feel Britain should be over there fixing India's plumbing situation and all that stuff. I feel Great Britain owes a debt to many other nations. Now, I would say that the British people who became citizens of this country took on Great Britain's role in America because they transferred. Okay, yeah, you it's yours now. Then you take all the burden that comes with it. So no, I don't feel Great Britain is on the hook for the United States. But Jamaica, St. Thomas, there's a whole lot of nations down there that I feel Great Britain is definitely on the hook for. That's the reason why I feel like Spain should just liquidate Spain, all gold, everything they got, and fork over most of it to Mexico, to South America, to even some parts of North Africa. Well, that would be Portugal, but Spain and Portugal owe so freaking much. They should be on a reparations plan, on a payment plan to all the countries that they fucked over. And then France, how much they owe to parts of the Caribbean, and how much they owe to half of Africa for what they've done. So yes, there's a lot of European nations who I feel, the way I see reparations, should be paying a form of reparations. Also should be getting their ass out of these fucking countries as a whole and quit trying to take their resources. Because that right there is not reparations of the past. That's still fucking with nations today. We just talked last week about the all the different genocides and stuff that are going on in not Congo. Oh man, why am I blanking on it? Sudan. What's been going on in Sudan? Most of that is propped up by Western countries. That is Western countries intentionally keeping a civil war going and starvation and genocide and all that going so that they can extract wealth from these countries. So it's not a matter of what was done all the way back then, 300, 400 years ago. I mean, all that is important, but They're still doing the shit right now, this very day, still doing it. So that's the reason why I feel like, and then the crazy part about it is you'll get online and you have some goofy ass white supremacists talking about these nations are better because the white man did this and this and this, and they would never have anything, and they don't have anything because they're lower IQ. No, it's because these countries have been attacked mercilessly. Their societies have been ravaged, destroyed. And so it's easy for you to take a snapshot in history and come in at this very point while they're on the downslide, while they're on the decline, or while they're down, and kick them while they're down and talk about what they didn't have. But at the same time, if you took another snapshot in history and you went back 1,000 years and you saw how they were the pearls of society, how they were the tops of society, how they had these civilizations that had technology and had literature and created legal procedures and laws and court systems and all of these just brilliant things that were destroyed by Europeans. So that's the thing which bothers me so much with white supremacy, because they only look within a 500-year window and ignore the thousands and thousands of years of history before that. Ignore why places are the way they are. It's just like somebody only looking at New York City, not New York City. It's like somebody only looking at Detroit or Cleveland for how it is right now and ignoring how it was in the 20s or the 30s, when some of these were the marvel cities of the United States. Yes, it's hard for people to think. Cleveland was considered one of the marvels of the United States. Detroit also. But that just shows you how time can change things and effects and whatever, and catching a snapshot and only thinking within people's bubbles on reality, how they have a hard time understanding how a place is and was. And, you know, I don't know. I can go on and rant about this stuff, but, you know, says one, people have lower IQ. It is complete BS. Also, how evil is it? Justify all the atrocities based on people supposedly having lower IQs. What it boils down to, honestly, is there are certain groups of people who are not very bright, who glorify atrocities and thinking, oh, well, it's because other people would have done it too. No, other people would not have done it too. China was more, for a long time, was one of the most technologically advanced societies when you start going through the different dynasties. And they kept their problems in-house. Yes, you had this emperor fight against this emperor, and you had this going on with that, and conquerors in smaller areas. They had boats and ships to go other places, and they did go other places. But they didn't decide, you know what? I need to leave from China and go all the way over to Manchester and decide to just start fucking people up over there. They didn't do that. Only Europeans were the ones who decided, I need to go all the way to South Africa and go fuck up their country. And so the whole, if other people would have had the technology, they would have did what Europeans did. No, that is not fucking true. Not true at all. And how I see that is just like how some of these Republicans are acting like these elections are no big deal, coping, that's cope also. And exactly, if you don't atone for the wrong, don't worry. Don't worry. If you don't believe in God, well, I believe God's going to do it. But if you don't believe in God, I bet you at least believe in karma. You can't do messed up shit and it don't come back to you. What you put out into the world comes back around. Just know that. So I look at it like this: can you necessarily fix everything your ancestors did? No. Are you at fault for everything your ancestors did? No, not necessarily. All you can be responsible for is what you do in the here and now. And as long as you are doing whatever you can do to fix the situation, to spread awareness, whatever. As long as you're on this, okay, you got these two sides. This side is negative, this side is positive. Pick which side you want to be on. And if you're on the positive side, hopefully you get that white stone. And if you're not, you get the black stone, and you'll figure out what that means if you don't. But even Billie Eilish telling them to give their money away. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's going to be people who, when shit hits the fan, shit will hit the fan. I'll leave it at that. And so, even going on that note, right now, even with the whole Trump thing, you got MAGA kind of having another mini civil war. And most of this is kind of branched out because it started with actually Nick Fuentes. And for those who have not followed, Nick has been going after and torching plenty of people on the right. You're close, but not quite. But in certain other people's beliefs, it could be Anubis also. Though Blackstone and Whitestone was a form of judicial justice in the Greek and Roman periods. And if you were given a white stone, it meant that you were found innocent. If you were given a black stone, it was meaning you were found guilty. But also, when you go biblically, it talks about getting the white stone or the black stone. So that's a little background on what I was talking about there. But it's the same concept. It's the same concept with Anubis, and when your heart and your soul versus that feather. Same concept. I mean, for all we know, it could be intertwined in that process. We don't know, because never mind. I'm not gonna go down the Bible rabbit hole. I know y'all don't want to hear it, so let me keep going on where I was going. So it's kind of funny. I remember hearing a lot of people on the right talking about possibly America hitting a civil war. They're always throwing this civil war shit out here, but we never see this civil war. It's because the other side of the people on the right, most of the time, are not trying to go to some kind of civil war level. Yeah, they might not like you. They might say some messed up stuff online, but most of them people are not about to take up arms. I mean, it's rare that you'll see somebody try political violence off of just because that person is to the right. Although I get how, they framed the narrative lately. Oh, well, BLM and they were protesting. Yeah, equating protests to the same thing as somebody who politically motivated, going into a school or a grocery store or wherever and taking people out is not the same thing. Not even close. I mean, in the millions of people who protested during Black Lives Matter, over all the different cities that happen in places, the death count is lower than one Sandy Hook. So don't come at me with this whole well they were protesting and burned a cop car, and so that's equivalent to Uvalde. That's not. Even though Uvalde is not the same thing, I just threw out the Uvalde because we know what happened there. That has to do with mental health. Clearly, mental health had nothing to do with politics. But it also does, well, in a way it does. Never mind. I'm not going to go into that. That's for another show. Just put it there. Yonina says we love your Bible rabbit hole tangents. All right, I appreciate it. I mean, I can't necessarily control where it goes sometimes, but I don't know. You guys will get just my stream of consciousness for the moment, and hopefully it makes sense. I believe all of this stuff can, to a degree, have some kind of Masonic dealings, whether it is direct or indirect. I feel through, and we can see. I remember I didn't really delve a whole lot into it when I brought up the topic of breaking the algorithm, but a lot of these people are algorithm captured. Some of us are algorithm captured by watching a whole bunch of political videos, some from watching religious videos, some from watching a bunch of cat videos, some from sports videos, whatever. But some of these people, they go into rabbit holes of the incel type of, you know what, I hate fill in the blank because of fill in the blank. And they fall into these types of rabbit holes. And I believe that stuff is completely manufactured. Well, the algorithm can't necessarily read your mind. I feel like they can kind of more guide you. Because I get stuff suggested to me all the time, and it's like, yo, just because I watch 2 of those videos, that does not mean that I want fucking 17 of them. And it's just gonna, if you show that you'll watch one, it'll keep you on that. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't have other interests, because that's the reason why I have to break my algorithm, because it's like, yo, I get it. I looked at this video of a cute golden retriever puppy once. That don't mean I want to watch 15 fucking golden retriever videos. My interests are diverse. Just like when I was doing the research on these mass killers and stuff. That don't mean that's the only thing I want to see for 24/7. Sometimes I want to see the new AI Michael Jackson trap video. just playing, y'all. I believe, well, Google can kind of, I wouldn't say, I get what you're trying to say, Yonina. I wouldn't say that they're necessarily reading your mind, but here's another thing. Especially if your thing's on autopilot. I mean, or not autopilot, but what is it? Autoplay. Like my YouTube is on autoplay. If I play, perfect example. I was listening to a song. I put that song on, and it played songs that would be similarly in that feed. Well, later on, a couple of hours later, I wanted to hear that song again. I played that song, and it literally played every other song straight down a feed exactly of the songs I had listened to earlier. Now, just because I wanted to hear that song again doesn't mean I wanted to hear every one of those songs all again. I like those songs, but mix the shit up. I want to hear new shit. I want to hear other stuff. I want to hear shit I ain't heard in a while. And that's why I say the algorithm can kind of, but it can't completely, because the way a lot of these algorithms are is if you show the interest in one thing once, it's going to feed you that over and over and over and over and over. That doesn't mean that you're only interested in that. And that's what I'm saying. If it's only feeding you what you've shown it once or twice, it doesn't have a full grasp of understanding you, because it doesn't know what you're going to think from moment to moment. It only knows what you've shown some interest in. Man, Atras, get out of here. You talking about it was one video? Yeah, I bet you watch more than one of them videos. And probably still watching them. That's why your algorithm is showing that. It's all right if you like them big old booties. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Yes, Jackie, there are a lot of vegetables and vitamins and stuff that can definitely help slow any kind of like that little brain fog and stuff that you're getting. I recommend my grandmother and grandfather on my mom's side both had dementia and Alzheimer's. And one of the big things to do would be these certain games that you can do to help with gray matter. I play some of these games too, and I'm not in my 60s. I mean, my mom's in her 60s, and I do some of those things because I know if I got two grandparents that definitely had that, what's the possibility that that could be something generationally, and also with concussions that I've had in the past. How do I know that that's not something that I'm more susceptible to? So I try to get ahead of it and preventative health as much as possible. Because once that brain starts to go, it can get sketchy. So, but there are things we can do to kind of help maintain and keep ourselves having, a healthy, fulfilling life as we grow older. See, Google's mind reading AI can tell what music you listen to based on your brain signals. I don't know. I have to look more into it. I don't know. Send me something about it because I don't only listen to one type of music. Granted, if primarily I might listen to one thing, but I mean, growing up, I played in symphony orchestra. I was my senior year. I was in the lead trumpet player in jazz band. Um, I listened to, of course, all different forms of rap and hip hop, R&B. Um, I listened to blues. Um, listened to classic rock or alternative rock. We even listened to a little bit of metal here and there. So there's not pretty much the only stuff I don't really listen to like some polka, of course. I don't really listen to country music. That's not, something that I'm into. What else? It's probably not a lot of genres I don't listen to. Now, of course, you can get into certain international music that I might not be into, but as far as most American music, most of it I dig outside of, country. It's not my thing. Yes, I don't like any music that sounds like polka, aka some of those different Mexicans genres. I'm not going to say I don't like some songs with an accordion in them, but most of them are on my no list. Uh, tu- 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 tu. I did have a Discord. I just haven't maintained in a while. I'm lately these days I've been so busy with work. When I get home, the last thing I want to do is be on the computer more than I already am. Violin, interesting. But oh yeah, I don't know how I got so sidetracked. I was talking about Tucker and the Republicans and stuff falling apart. That's what I said at the beginning of the show, though. So apologies. It's going to be a looping show, and I'll probably be going all over the place. But uh, now Nick Fuentes is being platformed by the Tucker Carlsons, and to the chagrin of Ben Shapiro and the Mark Levins and Lindsey Grahams and all those. uh, Nick Fuentes is taking over the under 30 conservative viewpoint, and so now they've went from hatred towards most black and brown people to now hatred towards all black and brown people, and let's throw Jewish people in there too. So awkward. What about the music? Oh, I can mess with um what is it? I'm trying to think of what would they call them? Southern marching bands, Morris Brown. If that's what I think that's what you're talking about, college like Morris Brown marching bands. Yeah, I'm into that too. You're talking about that cumbia. I like cumbia. Of course, reggaeton. I like bachata. Well, I like some bachata. I don't love all of it. Um, I I like flamenco. Um, I don't know, some different stuff. Hell, you might even have me listening to some French R&B. Um, I might be listening to some Italian trap. You never know what I might be listening to. So I'm saying I don't know if it can just read my brainwaves that simply, but whatever, maybe so. But anyway, so Nick Fuentes looks like he is pulling apart the MAGA base, and I'm all here for it. It's funny watching them kind of cannibalize themselves. As I started off with saying, Tucker Carlson was really talking about this whole Civil War stuff, and it's like, no, I think the Civil War stuff is just an in-house issue you guys have. I didn't even know about some of this until I heard from a couple of different Republicans. They were talking about how you got ICE, who's pissed off with Department of Homeland Security, and like, there's so many people who are like behind the scenes beefing with within the Trump administration. It's interesting. Because I guessed with ICE doing so much of the just door to door running around like a soldier, grabbing anybody who looks brown, and going after them. Hell, now black and brown, they're going after. It's actually making it harder for them to not ICE, but what is it? DHS is making it harder for a lot of their agents to go after the major cartels and things like that, which they would normally do. So it's like now they prioritize just getting any black and brown person who they think can possibly be an immigrant out of this country to actually now deprioritizing actual real dangerous criminals. So it's interesting. Wires Cross. Morris dancing is men who are old enough to know better and making complete parts of themselves. Look it up. So embarrassing. Yeah, I guess I'm not familiar with Morris dancing. I'm gonna have to look into that. Listen to Pale Jade, Marcus. Oh, by the way, you're talking about different music. I got Bob Marley on right now. I was listening to what was it? I don't know if you know who Kung Fu Bantan is, but that's basically like that's Spanish reggae. Yeah, I'm just glad to see that they're going after each other. I like it. I'm here for it. It's entertaining. I gotta look that up. Now you got me curious. Morris dancing. I don't know if I ever became a big enough like streamer where I did this full time. One place I would definitely want to go back to is get back to the UK. I felt like I didn't get to spend nearly enough time there, and I really enjoyed it. Well, I enjoyed just Europe in general. Oh wow. Morris dancing, that looks hilarious. Oh man. You know what? I think I saw something like that. The Morris dancing. He's doing handkerchiefs. I think I remember seeing something like that in what's that movie where Diane Lane goes to Tuscany, and like one of the guys in there, he does this flag dancing thing. Man, I don't know what was. And I gotta look up that movie because it's gonna bother me. Diane Lang Tuscany movie. Somebody will probably Yonina will probably get to it before I can. But I don't know. Let's see. What is that movie called? Dang, I forgot she was in some of these movies. Good Lord. Come on. Where are you at? Where are you at? This is going to bother me. My scatterbrained self. I can't remember. Diane Lang. Diane Lang. Tuscan Sun. That's the name of that movie, Tuscan Sun. And they had a scene in there where I believe the kid is from like Denmark or something, and he wanted to impress the Italian girl's parents because he wanted to marry her. And so he decided to get into this like interesting dances with flags and stuff. I don't know. In the States, that would be considered very soy boy or zesty, as some would say. And not something a masculine man would really ever want to be caught doing. But different countries do things differently. I mean, straight men in Europe, a lot of them kiss each other on the cheeks, and some walk holding arm in arm. And I don't know. You just don't see that in the States. Starting to masquerade as ICE agents. To answer Chris and Jackie said criminals are starting to masquerade as ICE agents so that they can commit crimes. And I don't know if Lee Camp did a segment on it, but I know it's something that it's been going on for quite some time. I remember reporting on that easily like, I don't know, maybe 3-4 months ago, where we saw many cases that happened out here in California. So that's not, new, but it's definitely a problem that's going on. So I guess in closing, what I'll say about the Nick Fuentes stuff is I think he's the future of the new Republican Party, and with him being the future of the Republican Party, if nothing happens to him and nothing happens to a Candace Owens, I think it could spell, a massive drop in popularity for Israel. And so I don't know what happens from there. I honestly believe that we're getting closer to a huge change that's coming globally. So we'll see what that looks like once we get to that point. But I think we should definitely keep our eyes on what's going on with the GOP and these different turns and twists, and where do they end up in a few years. What was the next thing I wanted? Oh, let me find. I thought maybe I didn't send. I guess I have to hop on my phone real quick and send it because I don't think I sent the video, or I think maybe I tried to send the video and it didn't go through. But let's see. I think they're called, ironically, Neo. Home robots. Okay, so now let me send it to here. Let me send it to myself, and then I will share it with you guys. All right, hold on a sec. Almost there. Okay, so now let me pull this up.
Robot housekeeper.
Thank you, Neo.
For $20,000, you can pre-order 1X's Neo robot now, with delivery in 2026.
I think you missed a tiny spot over here.
Just one little catch. There may be a human behind the curtain, pulling the robot strings.
If I throw up, will the robot throw up?
A company representative may need to peer into your house via Neo's camera eyes to get things done.
To many people, this is crazy.
You have to be okay with this for the product to be useful.
We're twinning now, Neo.
1X is taking on home robotics' biggest challenges, creating a safe body and a smart brain. Its fabric-covered body lets Neo try to do a lot of things humans do around the house. Emphasis on try.
You got this, Neo. You got it.
My challenge, load 3 items in the dishwasher. And that took 5 minutes. The challenge isn't just Neo's body, it's also its brain. It needs to know how to perform tasks on its own, without human help. But right now, everything I saw Neo do was guided by a skilled teleoperator in a VR headset. This is how Neo learns. The videos of the robot doing household work via teleoperation become the training data to make the AI model smarter. That's why 1X is putting Neo in the homes of early adopters.
I think it's quite important for me to just say that in 2026, if you buy this product, it is because you're okay with that social contract. If we don't have your data, we can't make the product better.
The next few years isn't about owning a super useful robot. It's about raising one. But at least this robot can have lots of fun.
No, like this. 6, 7, 6, 7.
It's here, the first humanoid robot house.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that? Let's see. Oh yeah, that's right. You said remind me. So let me go on ahead and get over there right now. That way I will do this right away. Do this right away. Get to send you a message. All right, so I got that ready. Saul, you're a mess. It doesn't look like Rosie Jetson. No, but I think that's the starting ground. And I'm like, that's a hell no for me. A hell no. But this is what they're trying to push. This is where they're trying to go with things. Let's okay. Now I sent you a message. That way you'll be able to. That way it'll be in there, and I'll definitely remember we started this conversation. But it was one other one that I wanted to show you guys. There's more movies. I mean, not more movies, but more videos on this whole, and it's called Neo, I believe. And it's just kind of going more into the whole Elon crap that he's been talking about. He made a what did he say? Is he calling it benevolent AI or something like that? That's what he was saying. I think he said benevolent AI. Let me try to see if I can find that clip for you guys so you can hear it. Because when I heard it, I was like, what the heck is this dude talking about? he was like, that's the bright side of what we're looking for. Yeah, unless he was talking about just a screen for the phone and everything. I think that's the one. So I'm gonna send that one also to myself because I already know I don't want no part of that robot. And sometimes I wonder if some of this stuff is just for shock value, so that they can say, "Oh, well, we're doing this," and for people like myself, and I'm sure most of the audience will be appalled by me, like, "No, we want no parts of that shit." Sometimes I think that's part of it, just to mess with our heads a little bit. But I don't know. I think there's definitely going to be a version of that, Saul. I mean, I think there's definitely going to be a version of that. And weird enough, I did not know this, but looking back, hate to be crude for anybody who doesn't want to hear kind of more crude language. I've heard that a lot of the technology is developed first through pornography first. And that's like the testing grounds before they release it to everybody else. So I can definitely see that they're going to make that movie Her, where people are falling in love with robots. And it was another movie that had what is his name? Can't remember. What's Dennis Quaid's son's name? Was it Jack Quaid? He had some movie that was similar to that, where where he's basically in love with this robot. Well, I don't know if in love, but he's in a relationship with this robot. Okay, there it is. Pause and let's share this. So now that I see a lot of my kinks have been worked out on here, I'm gonna now add the new addition to the show, which I have sitting aside. I have to test it and figure out how it works first, but I finally have a soundboard, everybody. So I'll play around with that. Hopefully, and have that set up by next week. But here's one of the Elon clips. I'm not sure if this is going to be the one that I was looking for, but this is one of the clips.
Which is that we're not going to have a phone, or in the traditional sense, what we call a phone will really be an edge node for AI inference, for AI video inference, with some radios to obviously connect. But essentially, you'll have AI on the server side communicating to an AI on your device. Formerly known as a phone, and generating real-time video of anything that you could possibly want. And I think that there won't be operating systems, there won't be apps in the future. There won't be operating systems or apps. It'll just be, you've got a device that is there for the screen and audio, and for and to put as much AI on the device as possible, so as to minimize the amount of bandwidth that's needed between your edge node device, formerly known as a phone, and the servers.
So if there's no apps, what will people use? Like, will X still exist? Will there be email platforms, or will you get everything through AI?
You'll get everything through AI.
Everything through AI. What will be the benefit of that, as opposed to having individual apps?
Whatever you can think of, or really whatever the AI can anticipate you might want, it'll show you. That's my prediction for where things end up.
What kind of time frame are we talking about here?
I don't know. It's probably 5 or 6 years, something like that. I can tell you where I think things are going to go, which is that we're not going to have a phone, or in the traditional sense, what we call a phone will really be an edge node for AI inference, for AI video inference, with with some radios to obviously connect. But essentially you'll have AI on the server side communicating to an AI on your device, formerly known as a phone, and generating real-time video of anything that you could possibly want. And I think that there won't be operating systems, there won't be apps in the future. There won't be operating systems or apps. It'll just be.
My apologies. Sorry for letting it run a second time. Let me just finish this message real quick. Let me just finish this. There we go. There we go, Jackie. So I responded to you there. Yeah, I don't know why it was not letting you respond, but I gave a response to you there. It sounds like something which all of this stuff sounds like. Let me show you guys the next video. I'm just saying I don't want no part of a lot of this crap that they want to do. But also, what I saw there in the chat, I believe that some of this stuff is. I don't know how much of this stuff is real or not. How much of this stuff is them just talking out of their ass to sell you on something and keep investors involved. So I think a good chunk of this may be just stuff that's just to get investors involved. I don't know if they're actually going to be able to facilitate a lot of this stuff they're talking about. But I could be wrong, and we'll see. So let me find it. I got another video up I want to share with you all. This is the other video that I wanted to share that kind of, if he's saying this, if this is what he believes is going to happen, then things can get very, I don't know how things will get. I just know that if this reality does come to pass, and I know if it does come to pass, I doubt it'll be through Elon Musk, because I don't believe that anything that he's running is running very fluid. But here's the video.
What other jobs will be available that aren't available now because of AI?
Well, AI is really still digital. Ultimately, AI can improve the productivity of humans who build things with their hands or do things with their hands, like literally welding, electrical work, plumbing, anything that's physically moving atoms, like cooking food or farming or like anything that's physical. Those jobs will exist for a much longer time. But anything that is digital, which is like just someone at a computer doing something, AI is going to take over those jobs like lightning.
Coding, anything along those lines. Yeah,
it's going to take over those jobs like lightning. Just like digital computers took over the job of people doing manual calculations, but much faster.
What other jobs will be available that aren't available now because of AI?
Well, AI will.
So that was the other part that I wanted to share. How he was talking about AI is going to literally just take over some of these jobs, and I can see it in some realities, in some ways, taking over some of these jobs. Some of them I don't think, like, I think he's correct there. Podcasting could go away, but it may not go away. Also, it may just form a different form of podcasting. because if that, let's say his reality is true. He's talking about this. It'll go like the one I heard was a much longer form of that, and I wonder maybe I can find that one. Crap, I already closed it. But I wonder if I can find the longer form of that, because he went into actually laying out that not only did he see that it would take our jobs, he gave his prognosis on what he believes life will be like after it's taken our jobs. Man, I'm only seeing short clips. Okay, here, let me try this one real quick. Let's share and try this one.
Yeah, like cars are going to be autonomous, but there's just so many desk jobs where really what people are doing is they're processing email, or they're answering the phone, and just anything that isn't moving atoms, like anything that is not physically, like doing physical work.
Which that's one way which he says it'll take him over really quickly. That's one area where I would push back a little bit. And I get why he would think that way. When you're somebody who's like dealing with computers, for instance, you're just dealing with ones and zeros, processing coding, which is something that's kind of straightforward and repetitive. Even some of the language software where you're writing out documents or wording it, that might be one thing. Even if it's something where it's just simple processing of maybe orders or something. But when it's more complex, as in doing multiple different things, I think AI would actually not be able to replace those jobs as quickly, because this isn't actual AI. Most of what we're seeing is basically these are coded programs. And a coded program is very different than AI. When you're doing a coded program, you're actually coding something and creating an algorithm for it to be able to process certain things and then run a script for it. Whereas AI, artificial intelligence, is looking at it, it's learning, and it's processing and doing it on its own. And I don't believe that they've gained enough knowledge on actual AI. Thus, the little AI robot that they have is having a person who's actually controlling the robot with a whole bunch of cameras and crap in your home and listening devices 24 hours, not only soaking in your data that you have on your computers and stuff, it's actually soaking in physically what you are doing, your mood, studying facial expressions, anger, anger, joy, all of those things, pain, your habits, how much you sleep, how much you don't sleep, how much junk food that you have. And it's going to be calculating a whole lot of other things, which that's data mining. That's not AI. So when he talks about these programs, AI will be able to do this. If it was actual real AI, yes, I believe AI could replace my job tomorrow. But these algorithms and JavaScript and all that stuff, I do not believe that is going to be the thing that's going to replace people's jobs. If it's something where it's, say for instance, like on a garbage truck, it has a camera, it processes garbage bin, arm, release, grab, lift, flipped, and doing this repetitive process over and over, grab, bring in, lift, flip. I could see it replacing something like that. Or even just you pushing the button when you get to that and it's doing the motion. But when it's something where it's a little bit more complex movement and it's not just this repetitive assembly line kind of crap, I don't see this AI being able to replace that just yet. But here, let's continue.
That will obviously be the first thing. Those jobs will be and are being eliminated by AI at a very rapid pace. I mean, and ultimately, working will be optional because you'll have robots plus AI, and we'll have, in a benign scenario, universal high income, not just universal basic income, universal high income, meaning anyone can have any products or services that they want.
And this is the thing which I have a question with. Universal high incomes, how is that going to work? Because technically you're a billionaire many times over. You could be paying all of your workers astronomical amounts of money, but yet you don't do that. So obviously right there, you're already not benign. So what makes you think the society of CEOs who have lived off of the greed is good mentality would switch to this benign high income society for everybody? That doesn't make any sense to me. That literally makes no sense to me. How is that going to work? Who is going to do that? People already, for instance, have them, like, there are literal billionaires who have enough money to pay reparations. There are corporations who have the money to pay corporations and not even feel it. But yet they don't want to do that for a debt that's owed. And you're telling me that they're just going to give people free money? Hell, they don't even want to give out, SNAP recipients their stuff. They want to do means testing on every kind of money that comes from the government. And you're telling me somehow we're going to go into society where they're just going to pay people to not work? What, are we just going to disband corporations and they're not going to charge for food? I mean, this is where I wish that this is where you see the flaw in a Joe Rogan's interviewing style. Well, I'm not even going to say Joe Rogan's interviewing style. This is where it shows that there should be somebody who's much bigger and smarter interviewing somebody like him. But obviously, markets dictate things. And so people have gravitated to him for interviewer. And so you're not going to have somebody who's really smart and intelligent asking Elon these questions and making him explain this stuff out in a logical, succinct thing, which you can bear any kind of resemblance to that to reality, not just living in the fucking clouds as this man is doing.
So
but there will be a lot of trauma and disruption along the way.
So you anticipate a basic income from that the economy will boost to such an extent that a high income would be available to almost everybody. So we'd essentially eliminate poverty.
In the benign scenario, yes. So, like, the way
there's multiple scenarios.
There are multiple scenarios. There's a lot of ways this movie can end.
So why didn't Joe say? So what is the probability of the benign scenario being a scenario that we should even focus on? And if he comes back with it's like a low percent, it's like a 5%, a 10%, then why are you giving us the benign scenario? Why aren't you giving us the most highest probability scenario? That would make more sense for you to talk about. But you're going to give us the benign scenario because you want it to sound good, because the real scenario is not going to be good, and therefore you are intentionally trying to be deceptive.
Like, the reason I'm so concerned about AI safety is that, like, one of the possibilities is the Terminator scenario. It's not 0%. That's why it's like I'm like really banging the drum on AI needs to be maximally truth seeking. Like, don't force AI to believe a lie, like that for example, the founding fathers were actually a group of diverse women, or that misgendering is worse than nuclear war. Because if that's the case, and then you get the robots and the AI becomes omnipotent, it can enforce that outcome.
even if that was the outcome, who gives a fuck? So what? If they thought the founding father was a bunch of women, that doesn't matter. That's his thought process just makes no sense. What matters more is realistic things in the here and now, not if they got some things wrong about the gender of early man and woman. I mean, early so-called founders of America. Goodness. Oh shoot, I think I see Till in the chat. Hold on. Hello, Miss Lady.
What's up?
How's it going out there?
Not bad. We just finished dancing all night long. Child. Hey guys.
Yeah, I told everybody. Well, I didn't tell everybody. I said, but oh wait, I did say this at the beginning of the show. I said Till gonna be off. I wanted her to do her own thing. I told her on the phone, y'all. I said, hey, go. I messed up the communication. I did not give you forewarning on planning anything. It is my bad. Go have a good time. Go enjoy yourself. And she's like, no, I'm gonna go out there, but please send me the link because just in case I want to pop in and say hello to everybody. And y'all see, this is how much she care about y'all.
I love y'all. That's my shit. This is my shit. You got Elon Musk up here. What's going on? Hold on.
Yeah. Elon is talking about how in this benign society that there will AI will take all the jobs and we will have this high society income where everybody will just make good money and nobody will work in this benign society. And I'm like, bitch, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, I see who is this? Jackie Hemmings. I'm sorry. My eyes instantly got caught when she was like, Elon knows that people are talking about guillotines. I don't know if you were on the show last week, but I was definitely saying bring that shit back.
Well,
it's giving French Revolution right now.
Well, she put that. I think that was in response to what I was saying about this whole why is he trying to BS us and be deceptive about this benign AI like revolution or whatever. And she was saying basically that Elon knows that people are talking about guillotines. Also, he probably hopes the population will be vastly reduced by the time this hypothetical reality comes to pass. And I think that makes a lot of sense. He don't want to tell us the truth about what he believes is going to happen, because if he told us the truth, everybody tell him to go fuck off right now. But I think
with
she's
Peter
entirely
Thiel
correct.
And shit, yeah, with Peter Thiel and his whole mindset, you definitely know they in cahoots. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not about to sit here and tell me you're gonna have a whole group of people just living the high life. You know what I'm saying? And like everybody's just making this salary and everybody's just making this money, and that don't make sense. You can't have all these people on Earth doing all that.
Think about
it's gonna
it,
have
Till.
to be a few.
What were you just ranting about last week about Snap?
Bruh.
So you telling me right now we got all these billionaires and y'all don't even want to pay Snap out to people, some of these people who are working who actually need it? And you telling me you just gonna give money out for free to people
to sit on their ass? You got me chopped, bro. That don't even make sense.
And not only him, he basically saying, well, all of these corporations and CEOs are just gonna give this money out to everybody to not work.
You a fucking lie. You just laid off niggas. Your business just laid off nigga. Amazon just laid niggas off. Fuck is you talking about? What are you talking about? Niggas just got laid off. If that's the case, why ain't y'all get them niggas the money? If that's the case, why we ain't got it right now?
Facts.
If that's the case, why we even got to worry about snaps? We all should have a living wage.
Facts.
Why y'all saying that? Why we even got, man, don't get me fucking started.
Why you
don't get me
started. I want to get you started. Why are we sitting up there begging for
y'all pressed about 4 bill and y'all gave out 40 bill? Y'all pressed about 10% of what the fuck y'all just gave to somebody else. You got me chopped, bro. But if we about to just sit on our ass and collect the check, if that's the case, everybody should be on Snap. If we're gonna sit at the crib and collect the motherfucking check, we all should be on welfare, because that fucking sounds like welfare to me. Kind of sounds like socialism. Kind of sounds like the kind of sound like the shit they don't want it to be.
Talk on it.
Am I missing something? I might be, because I'm just saying that's kind of what it sounds like. It kind of sounds like all the shit that y'all not trying to let happen anyway. So how can it be? It can't be two, man. It can't be two at the same time. I'm telling you that. You got me chopped. You got me chopped. It can't be two at the same time. Cause what y'all stressing about right now? Why we got discovered? If the government's supposed to be so pressed, why they shut down right now? If we just gonna give out checks, y'all saying we can't have the government right now because y'all don't want to give out checks. But in 20, 30, 40, 100 years, y'all gonna start giving out checks, huh? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what he's literally trying to tell us.
It really sounds like racism really turned into classism real fucking quick. It really sounds like, and I might be stretching it, so check me if I am, but it's really sounding like the only country we might be emulating is, I don't know, India in the 70s. India in the 50s. Caste system. This really sounded real caste system-ish. It sounds like y'all stopping the shit for the untouchables. That's what it's giving. Y'all done brought all them niggas over here. Now we taking them customs? Because it sounds like y'all doing classism. It's not even racism. It ain't even, nigga, it's just going to be, is you poor or not?
See, I almost feel like I need to run this video back a little bit and let everybody hear Teal's reaction to what he was saying.
Oh, Lord.
Because let's see. Yeah, I'm about 2 minutes into it. Let me run this back. And I'm not saying nothing for this whole first 2 minutes. You just you pipe in whenever you want me to stop it.
Okay.
Yeah, like cars are going to be autonomous, but there's just so many desk jobs where really what people are doing is they're processing email. Or they're answering the phone, and just anything that isn't moving atoms, like anything that is not physically, like doing physical work, that will obviously be the first thing. Those jobs will be and are being eliminated by AI at a very rapid pace. And ultimately, working will be optional because you'll have robots plus AI. And we'll have, in a benign scenario, universal high income, not just universal basic income, universal high income, meaning anyone can have any products or services that they want.
So
but there will be a lot of trauma and disruption along the way.
Universal income. But niggas don't want to give universal health care. Okay. All right. That makes way none sense. None at all. That's asinine as a bitch. Working will be optional. Optional. You can go to work. So we all just gonna be on a retirement pension that y'all don't even give us anyway. Oh, that part. So we gonna be on retirement that we already don't get. Social Security, y'all took that shit. So where this money coming from? Who cutting the check? Where the money coming from? Now I want to know. Because if ain't nobody working, everything's AI. AI don't need to get paid. They just need to be plugged up. Electricity gonna go high. Niggas gonna have brain tumors.
That's what I was like. This is why I hate for somebody like Joe Rogan to interview him, because somebody need to ask him some real questions on this shit he talking.
Yeah, I just want to know where it's coming from. Like y'all nickel and diamond niggas right now.
Peep this question.
Hey,
how
there we go.
How will working be optional if AI is going to take over the jobs? Well, he couldn't have this in a town hall.
Shit, he couldn't even be on the podcast with us. He picked the wrong podcast. Shit.
Yeah, true. He couldn't be on the podcast with us because he have a whole Lucy. You got a lot of explaining to do. Goodness.
That is insane.
Mm-hmm.
You got me chopped up, bro.
Until you only want. Oh, it's 3 minutes.
He already
ago.
got me mad, and it's only 1 minute in. Lord, go ahead.
Yeah, and that's what I said. Stop it whenever you need.
So you anticipate a basic income from that the economy will boost to such an extent that a high income would be available to almost everybody. So we'd essentially eliminate poverty.
In the benign scenario, yes. So like the way
There's multiple scenarios.
There are multiple scenarios. There's a lot of ways this movie can end. Like the reason I'm so concerned about AI safety is that like one of the possibilities is the Terminator scenario. It's not 0%. That's why it's like I'm like really banging the drum on AI needs to be maximally truth seeking. Like don't force AI to believe a lie like that. For example, the founding fathers were actually a group of diverse women, or that misgendering is worse than nuclear war.
What the fuck did he just say? AI needs to be truth. What? Truth seeking? The fuck you mean truth seeking, nigga?
That's what he said.
Oh hell no, y'all got me chopped up.
Yo.
So AI is going to know. Jesus. History don't matter no more, bro.
No.
Damn.
Listen, like,
Damn.
what are you talking about? They misgendering fucking people in that's irrelevant, dude. Whatever. Talking about woke shit, whatever. That's irrelevant. Shut up. It's stupid. And shout out to Michael. I see Michael in the chat. What's up?
Nobody's misgendering the founding fathers, bitch. But nevertheless, I get it. Because if in 175 years Martin Luther King a white man, that's gonna be crazy.
Mm-hmm. But is it? I mean,
you know,
even if they did make the founding,
is it really gonna happen? Who knows? I don't know.
If AI made the founding fathers women, what would that really change?
Nothing. Do they still do the same shit? Sounds about right.
Right.
Like, oh my God, y'all worried about the wrong shit. I want to know where this money coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the money coming from, y'all? Where is the bread?
Well, check this one right here. I like what Michael had to say. He said, the irony of ironies of trying to eradicate the labor theory of value with robots, leading to the redistribution of wealth because people cannot be defined by their work if they do not.
But it's true, though.
It's so true.
This motherfucker just be saying shit.
Oh yeah.
That lets me know that this motherfucker for real, he ain't come up with none of them patents, goddamn it.
Oh yeah, he dumb as hell. He is dumb as hell. They have let
must
a
have stolen
complete fucking idiot get to the spot where he at. And that's probably why he in the spot where he's at. Because he's a complete fucking idiot.
Yeah, that's how you get motherfuckers that just really got really good money, getting really good positions that they really don't need to be in.
Talk about
that's when that is money. That is money helped.
So that's now we're about to the part where you came in at earlier. So you see why I was already starting to get a little turned up.
Yeah, because what the fuck? Who let this nigga talk?
Mm-hmm.
Who let this motherfucker talk, bro?
Wesley got a good one here. He says, has anyone asked AI if billionaires are evil? Seems like a foregone conclusion and a good litmus test. I completely agree.
I was just telling somebody at work that shit. I was like, y'all gotta understand, these motherfucking rich niggas right now, they read comic books and got inspiration from the villains. Y'all know that, right? Like them
They're
niggas
like,
got
oh, I want to be
inspiration
Dr.
from
Doom.
Lex Luthor. That ass, bro. I want to be Lex. This bitch. That nigga sounds like he's fun. Like that's what I need niggas to understand.
Yep.
Is like
I want to be
they
Mr.
really did that
Glass.
shit. They really was like. Not everybody like Batman. Not everybody wanted to be Batman. Y'all gotta like niggas read comics, and he's one of them. I said it before in Blunt Force that he's one of them. He's one of them that read Superman and was like, "Fuck Superman, his bitch ass." Like, goddamn, bro. Goddamn, bro.
Well, for Peter Thiel, it was Lord of the Rings.
Stanley. Dog, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. And they all watch Game of Thrones, and they definitely wanted the Lannisters to win. Goddamn it.
Oh yeah. That's probably like the ending. They probably love that shit the best. Oh, look, they're burning all them innocent people. Get them.
Oh yeah, my man was definitely sad as a bitch. Thank you. That nigga was definitely sad as a bitch when Joffrey died. He felt that he took that personally. He felt that was him.
Probably did, and Tywin.
Dead ass.
Like, why they gotta take my boy Tywin out like that? That ain't right.
Okay.
He probably was the only person who stood up at the end when they got Ned. His ass was up there.
Oh yeah,
clapping.
man, they're the innocent. They got Ned with the okie doke. They hit that nigga early in the season too. That shit was terrible. Sorry, we're not gonna make this a Game of Thrones episode. One of these days we're gonna do a Game of Thrones breakdown though.
And I'm waiting.
Because I was definitely House Tyrell.
I'm waiting for House of the Dragons to come back. Shit.
Okay, if y'all know anything, I'm definitely House Tyrell. If I'm not a nigga just because I was with the niggas over there on the beach, you know what I'm saying? Then I'm definitely House Tyrell, baby. Them motherfuckers was gangsters. Silent G like lasagna out that bitch. I loved House Tyrell.
Yeah, I was definitely Team Varys.
Got you. That makes sense.
Oh, but you can see that.
You wanna know something?
Varys and Tyrion, them was my dudes.
I feel like our government is ran by the many-faced God. Do what you will with that information.
I don't know.
Think about what I'm saying. I thought that white dude that was like Trump's handler at first. What's his name? Frost, whatever his name was. He reminded me of the many-faced guy. Whoever Trump's first handler with the white hair and shit, I always call him Frost because he had white hair. But yeah, that white dude, many-faced guy.
Roger Stone.
Yup, that nigga right there, many-faced guy for sure.
But the many-faced guy at least had like rules. Okay, like, all right, I'm gonna do this for this for that. It was like there's no honor amongst these with these people. They like the red. What's the guy the red woman had? That's the guy they got.
Oh yeah, the red witch. That bitch was crazy too.
That's who they rocking with.
Man, they killed that nigga, baby. Sorry, we are not doing this Game of Thrones. Sorry, go ahead, play the white man.
Stop.
Play the white man talking nonsense.
Yeah, let's get back to this idiot. Jeez, it blows my mind how it shows how wealth, overwhelming amount of wealth, especially inherited wealth, just rots your brain.
Because if that's the case, and then you get the robots and the AI becomes omnipotent, it can enforce that outcome. And then like unless you're a diverse woman, you're out of the picture. So we're toast.
So that's
or you might wake up as a diverse woman one day. The AI has adjusted.
So this one shows me that he works from white supremacy mindset. So he leaped from, if they believe the founding fathers were black women, then that spells doom for white men. What? How did you make that calculation?
That makes no sense.
Because what you're saying, if that's the calculation, then you believe because the founding fathers are white men, then that makes it bad for black people.
My whole thing is, let me just go ahead and throw this one out here.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all believe in anything, don't matter what it is, evolution, creationism, upside down, Mormonism, I don't care. Y'all know for a fact that two things can prove that black women run this shit. I know it's gonna sound like Dr. Umar, but I'm gonna get on my Dr. Umar soapbox right the fuck now. Y'all know that the original human came out of where?
Africa.
Okay. All right. You can't tell me that all of a sudden everybody from Africa just happened to be black and it didn't move nowhere. That's crazy work. So if niggas came from Africa, and I'm gonna say that again, if niggas came from Africa, that means all us is niggas. We all niggas. How you gonna say anything of that color that comes from that country that can do anything like old girl's blood and cells that can fucking heal anybody walking this motherfucking earth? I don't see Becky doing no shit like that. Can y'all fact check that for me? I'm waiting. Because that woman's family just got the rest of her remains back. So check me if I'm wrong. And I wish we could dig up old boy and take him off the ice, Mr. DNA, who just died today.
Oh,
but
yeah,
I'd like
Mr.
to have
Double
to
Helix.
ask. Yes, I'd like to have to ask him. So check me out. Since old girl's entire cell structure, bones, body, blood, all of that good shit, literally created vaccines and shit all over the place so that it can heal humans, every human. Besides race, color, and creed, why the fuck are we still talking about who came from what and why we can't listen to who based off the fuck? Skin color does not classify, it does not propagate or negate intelligence. And we obviously can see it right now because this motherfucker came from Africa. He's white as fucking snow and he's talking bullshit. The end. That's all. I'm getting.
Yeah, I just think he's this dude is mentally disabled.
He is. Do you see how he
mentally
talk?
disabled? Like it's his logic don't even make sense. Or it would mean that we're cooked. How? Why? What do you think? Because now they're going to negatively go after white people? Why?
We ain't
Do
never
you feel
done-
white people in power are negatively going after black people?
We
Is
ain't
that-
never done it before. We haven't done it before. That's one thing
That's
allegedly
honestly,
I don't like about us.
honestly, I think that could be some white guilt right there. That you felt like black people have been treated so shitty. But here's another thing: even if that was the belief system, how would that flip the power in this country? That's what he's not explaining. How would that change things? What is all of a sudden because the AI thinks that the original founders were black women that they're just going to transfer all the titles and companies to all black women or something? Is that what you
Y'all not about to
makes
y'all
sense?
not about to fucking it really don't matter, bro. Cause it's not like y'all finna y'all finna follow their rules.
Its logic just don't make no sense to me. Like even if that's what it believed, how would that change anything? But that shows what he's focused on. That's the reason why he slants everything on his website to change everything. He wants this. He just operating through the white supremacy mode. Or some would call it a white inferiority complex. Now, I'm not saying all white people have that, but I'm saying people who think like him, who feel this need to, we have to protect whiteness because whiteness is at risk and at danger. If you think that way, that's coming from a mindset of fear and inferiority, I believe. Chris H thinks it's just him doing this racist virtue signaling and dog whistling. I don't think he's virtue signaling. We got to remember this man grew up in apartheid South Africa.
Nigga, say it.
This man grew up as a white supremacist.
Come on now. He grew up when Nelson
it's not
Mandela was
virtue
locked the
signaling.
fuck up.
Yeah, this
right?
ain't virtue signaling. This man felt when apartheid ended, that was like one of the worst days in South African history. This man thought it was a travesty.
Marcus.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't he alive when Mandela was locked up?
Yeah.
This
dude was like his formative years. This is when he was a teenager. This was like him in his high school years, was at the time when it was the end of end of apartheid. So that is at the same time when Mandela was getting out of prison after 27 years, would have been when he was like 18, 19 years old. So this man came up at the ending of apartheid and feeling like white people were losing everything.
I bet.
And so what is he and to push back, this ain't just virtue signaling, because do you know how he ended up in South Africa?
How?
Because his parents and his grandfather before that left from I believe it was a place called Germany during a certain time period.
Oh hell.
Left from Germany a certain time period to Canada. In Canada, they felt like, oh, this persecution was coming because it was trying to break down the walls of white supremacy there. And so they went to South Africa because of the apartheid. So 3 generations of white supremacy in his blood. So for those who the same virtue signaling, this is what this man believes. This is what his family believes. This is in his blood. Like I can't remember what it's called. What is it? The show is called what? The Bastards or whatever. Look him up. Go through his history.
Lord Jesus, this man is terrible.
And then the other one who's in our government right now, Peter Thiel. Like, you know how Elon's father was an emerald, owned an emerald mine and had like basically black slaves in an emerald mine?
Oh, what's his name? Leopold?
No, I'm not talking about
No, but you get my drift though, right? You get my drift though, right? Leopold.
Basically the same kind of energy.
Yeah, Leopold. Leopold II.
Well, look up Peter Thiel and figure out what kind of mind his father had.
Oh hell. Because
that's what they had in common. They both had fathers who owned mines. One was green emeralds. The other was uranium.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, he had black people farming. He had black people mining uranium.
By hand is insane.
By hand.
Obviously, they don't get them niggas tools.
So this is what I'm telling you. These are the kind of people. These are the kind of demons who he's talking about in a benign scenario. This is what will happen. You ain't doing it right now. You could literally end poverty in America right now if you wanted to. And it wouldn't even hurt you. You wouldn't even feel that shit. He could pay all his workers out the ass.
Man, listen.
But he spent his time worried about going into government firing people.
Bro, because they're not doing their job. Because they were working optionally. Them niggas wanted to work at home. Optional work. Work with options. And that nigga said, nope, get the fuck on. What the fuck are you talking about, bro? You just fired niggas for not wanting to.
That's what I'm saying. We are looking at an actual demon.
Obviously, this nigga look weird as he is.
Trying to defend himself.
This is insane. All right. Well, I'm gonna pop off. I know you only got like 10 minutes left. I'm gonna pop off early. I love y'all.
Well, no, hold on.
Oh wait,
I gotta
There's
give
more?
you the rest. I want you to react to the rest because I think we got like a minute left.
Okay.
All right, I'm mute up and I'm gonna just let you take it and then I'll hop in after you because that way I'll let you hop off.
Word.
The picture, and we are now a diverse
Everyone's
woman.
a diverse woman. So that would be that's the worst possible situation. So what would be the steps that we would have to take in order to implement the benign solution, where it's universal high income? Like best case scenario, this is the path forward to universal high income for essentially every single citizen, that the economy gets boosted by AI and robotics as such.
I'm sorry I had to stop that, but I couldn't let that slip by. How Elon was like, okay, so that would be the worst scenario. Buying this scenario that somehow them thinking the founding fathers were black women would relate to somehow white men being cooked. And no pushback, no question on that. He just like accepted that train of thought.
That's another white man. They never had to be black.
I just wanted to put that out there. He didn't even question this ridiculous, stupid ass logic. But I digress. We can continue.
Such an extent that no one ever has to work again. And what about meaning for those people, which gets really weird?
Yeah. I don't know how to answer the question about meaning.
That's an individual problem, right? But it's going to be an individual problem for millions of people.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, Teal.
Sorry, I was talking shit in the back.
That's all right.
I can't deal with white people. Can't do that. I'm sorry. That's white people just pissing me off right there. That's white people just pissing me off right there. Because what the fuck are you talking about? It doesn't even make any sense. None of that even makes sense.
No,
So
he couldn't even answer a simple question afterwards.
So we just gonna push. Give AI all this info. Give AI all this stuff. Truth. Brr, brr, brr. Brr, 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 brr. And then it's just gonna put us out of work. And then we just gonna sit at home while AI does our jobs, clean our house, rub our feet, all that good shit. And then what? Wally? That what you saying? We all about to just be Wally? Fuck out of here.
I think it's more likely for us to run into a scenario more like Ready Player One.
This shit don't make no sense.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all I had on that. I mean, if you had stuff going on, you need to hop off. That's all right. But I just wanted to get that last little bit from you.
Y'all better get your passports. Passport building gonna close if the government don't come back. Y'all better get your passport. If you live somewhere close to Atlanta, go to the passport place and do it in 24 hours or less. If you live in Niagara Falls area, go get your passport. They do that shit 24 hours or less. Go get your fucking passports. That's all I got. That's it.
All right. Well, appreciate it.
Peace out, guys.
I got one more topic, and I will hop into that. And I'll hit you up later, too.
Y'all. Okay. Peace out.
All right. Peace. So, last topic I got, and I was asked to bring this up. Let's see. Hold on a second. I just want to put something up in the background while I talk about it. It helps for editing purposes. So, because I think since this show was kind of more succinct, even though I was all over the place, I might make a couple of videos off of this and release them later in the week. Him. This is what I want to review now. So I had people who asked me to review it, and so I warned you now. It will include spoilers. I won't take a super long time on it, but I will talk about it just a little bit. So again, last warning, if you have not seen this and you want to see this, and you don't want spoilers, I am about to start talking about it. So, and this will be the last subject that I'll go over, last topic, and so you won't be missing anything after that. And you can always remember, come to about the 3-hour mark of this last video. Just skim through till you see, this part with him on it, and you guys will know, okay, that's where it is. Let me go check his review. I probably will separate this review off also, so it'll be easier to get. But and if you want to see it, and if you haven't seen it yet, you want to see it, but you don't care about spoilers, then okay, I'm all in. So I've already warned everybody, so I'm going to start in. So I guess I'll go ahead and give a synopsis for those who like, hey, I don't plan on going to go see it, so go on ahead and just kind of tell me what it's about. As you can tell, it is a football movie, which executive producer is Jordan Peele. It's starring Tyreek Withers, Marlon Wayans. Very good performances in there. That's the first thing I'll say. Tyreek plays a football prospect, which becomes one of the top football players, and expected to be like the number 1 overall draft pick, the type of once-in-a-lifetime quarterback which changes your franchise and turns it into a winning dynasty, or as my British friends would say, a dynasty. He very early, it shows him watching Marlon Wayans' character, who is that top man. He is him in that time period. He's kind of like the Tom Brady of that time, multiple Super Bowl rings, carrying this franchise, the face of the league. He's watching him get a severe injury, and then after the severe injury, he goes on and they're showing all these championships, and his father is like forcing him to look at this gruesome injury to say, okay, this is what toughness is. This is how to be a man. This is what you need to aspire to be like one day. So fast forward, jumps ahead. Now he's this top prospect. And on the night right before the draft, he's doing all this, not draft, but what would it be? Basically the equivalent to like the combine. For those who don't know what the NFL combine is all the top athletes are invited out to be tested. And so you get tested on your 40 times. You get they test you on your strength, your broad jump, your high jump, run you through different drills. They're just kind of for the 32 NFL teams to get a last look at you and be able to see, is this the player we want to draft to our team, especially for the top of the draft, and that's like the first, second, and third rounds are the key rounds where they're mostly looking at you. I mean, you can drop lower, but anyway, he's expected to be the number 1 overall, possibly, this generational talent. He sustains this creature. I don't know if I would say it's a creature or somebody dressed in some kind of weird costume. Attacks him right after he's practicing the night before going to the combine. He receives this injury, and it's questionable on where he's going to go now in the draft, because now people have second guesses about his injury status. He goes to do a workout, and he has some issues and struggles still with the injury he just received. He gets a nasty conk over the head, which already kind of makes some people wonder. It can put you in the thinking of, could this all be manifested through concussion that he had, and he's just seeing all of these different things, and he's living in this reality that is not as it seems. I don't think that's the case, but also that is a perspective that you can put out there and think, especially with head injuries. I think it's also a call to things that can happen to athletes which have CTE, which is what is it, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. I'm kind of butchering that, but that's basically what it is. And basically that means that chronic repeated hits to the head causing brain damage. And many NFL players, hockey players, boxers, all kind of different people suffer from CTE. So it starts off with this, which I'm not saying that I believe that's what's going on, although some of it could be possibly what goes on. He's going to go and meet with Marlon Wayans' character, this basically supposed Tom Brady type character, who he's actually meeting in this weird like place out in the desert, where this is kind of the refuge of this star quarterback, which a lot of NFL players, especially like top quarterbacks, pay big money, they'll have like an off-season training area where they might go to their hometown, or they might have some kind of other place set up. A lot of players who like are from Miami, regardless of what team they play for, will go back to like Miami and train there. Patrick Mahomes, which I believe this character is supposed to be kind of based loosely off of, without throwing his name, he practices in Texas. So he has all his receivers come down to Texas and they train down there. So it's not uncommon for a star quarterback to have somebody come out and train with them in some kind of private training camp, which they do. So anyway, Tariq's character goes out there, and apologies for not remembering the characters' names, but he goes out there to Marlon's character, who is the GOAT, and of course thinking about the GOAT, what that could mean, the greatest athlete of all time, and also the Illuminati meanings that could go with GOAT. It starts off, and he's supposed to spend 7 days with him, and it starts off with day one. And I'm not doing a full breakdown because I would have did my notes on writing down what each day means, because in the movie it actually shows you each day, this day means this day means that, and it's going through these different 7 days. As you can see from the thumbnail, it's very suggestive what they're doing with the imagery. I mean, he has blood all over him. His arms are outstretched, and behind him, the way that facility almost looks like angel wings behind him. Also, if you pay close attention to even the way they use the him, in the way they spelled it, in the H, that middle that comes across from the H, almost is reminiscent of a nail. And if you look at the M also, the front of the M looks like a nail, and it's sharp. So it almost looks like you have 1, 2, 3 nails. What they say, what a lot of people believe biblically, is the Messiah, when he was nailed to the cross, one in this hand, one in that hand, feet together, nailed together. So in this cross-like pose, which he's in, which that's why a lot of religious people had issues with this movie. It had a lot of themes which come across very sacrilegious. And so that is why they had issues with this. And I can understand that definitely. So anyway, I believe that the acting was very good in this movie. But that's not the real reason why this movie gets all the attention. The real reason why it gets all this attention is the imagery, which alludes to almost a ritualistic Illuminati type giving of power to a new up and coming star. And it's supposed to be this transfer from the great to the next great. Now, in this one, how they do it is a little bit different than you would imagine. Some would consider that more metaphorical, like Tom Brady retired and he's kind of handing the torch over to Pat Mahomes. But in this one, they take it more like it's just this literal transfer of power. It starts off kind of with him kind of sending him through these different drills and like really, really pushing and pushing and pushing and trying to kind of bring this theme of sacrifice. What are you willing to sacrifice to be the great? And so most of us who are watching this, and I believe most athletes, when they think sacrifice, they're thinking of time, energy, hard work. But this isn't really what it's talking about in here. This is talking about actual sacrifice. And there is a trainer which is in there, which I'm trying to remember. I think is comedian Jim Jeffries plays this trainer, which is kind of like, hey, run, this is not on the up and up. As Marlon Wayans' character continues to escalate, do things. And there's a scene where he lines a receiver up in front of the ball machine, or jugs machine, as some people will call it. And for every incomplete pass that he throws, the jugs machine throws a ball close range and smacks this guy in the face. And so he's getting not just hit. I mean, you're seeing blood and splatter, teeth falling out, and very gruesome what's happening to this guy, showing this level of intensity that that Marlon's character pushes on him. Let's see. Jackie says, just Google Jordan Peele because his name rang a bell but couldn't place him. Yes, he's behind Get Out. He also has another one. I always get this mixed up. Them. I think it's Them. Well, that I definitely recommend also. Yeah, that's a good question you said. But does he really have the power, or is it the people running the football club who have the real power? Well, in this one, they make it as if from every great quarterback, basically there's been this blood transaction that's been going on, where the new GOAT has been given the blood of all of these us. Thank you. I always get those two mixed up, Us and Them from a TV show, and both are great. But yes, check out that Jordan Peele Us. Anyway, it almost seems like, at first, he's just getting the blood, and okay, this is kind of weird that he's transferring blood back and forth, but also talks about how I felt like it's kind of reminiscent of them talking about Christ's blood and stuff like that, and just some of the themes that they were playing with in here about how he was going to kind of take over and assume the mantle. And even the Marlon's wife who comes in the picture, which is kind of ironic. They stereotypically made the wife be a white woman because that's a big trope of black football players. As soon as they make it, ending up with a white woman. It's not quite that simple. I would say, honestly, it's typically because most of these players end up going to schools which are predominantly white, and that's typically the girls which they end up having around them. More to do with it than anything. But I digress on that point. Anyway, back to the crazy training rituals. He has that going on. He has him basically isolated away from his family. There's even a scene where this crazy fan sneaks in, and that fan who sneaks in tries to attack him, and he kills the fan. And what Marlon does is he doesn't freak out about it or anything. He basically just has his people come in to clean it up after the woman is dead. So that's already showing how loose his morals are about other things, and how serious he takes this intensity about this quarterbacking thing. Then they bring in the whole the wife brings in the whole the commercials and the endorsement people for him to take pictures with and things like that. And that's when you start to see, okay, how integral some of the endorsements and all that stuff becomes a part of that whole facade of being the GOAT. And so you don't know if it's just that Marlon's character is just little cuckoo, or if there's actually something more going on to it. And as you start to watch a little bit more, you realize that no, there is actually some witchcraft going on. Marlon's wife is this actual witch who's tied in with this Illuminati organization. And as he's nearing the end of his training week, which I say, go in and check out what it actually says as far as those days of changing, because I think that they use the 7 days to basically imitate how in the Bible it talks about how God worked building the world for basically for 6 days and rested on the seventh, which in the movie it only gets to the 6th day and it never shows us a 7th day. It makes it as if all of this is like all one giant day that's connected together on the 6th day. Anyway, he goes to this Illuminati party. Jim Jeffries' character is telling him to get out and run. They tell him, hey, you got to do this and you got to do that, and we're definitely going to select you and you'll be the face of our program. Well, but you kind of need to make this little deal with us. Well, after drinking and all that, he passes out. He wakes up and Jim Jeffries' character has been killed and beheaded. And I guess that was the sacrifice that was required. And it's Marlon Wayans' wife is like the witch who does all of this. Next, it goes on to him waking up and going through basically an IV of getting more of like this supposedly sacred blood, which all of these greats, their blood has just been like accumulated and passed on and infused into the new greatest player in order for that greatest player to now be the new GOAT. So it actually is some kind of blood that's actually giving them actually powers for them to be great. Which I didn't like that aspect of it, because it's taken as if they don't have actual real talent, or that their talent is only to the level it is because it's being pushed through some kind of mythical black magic Illuminati blood. Well, anyway, there's this it comes to this final scene and they need to, it says a dude play for the Patriots. And the thing, even the team which Marlon plays for, which he's supposed to switch, is called the Saviors. So yeah, that is true. Tom Brady's wife, yeah, she's a witch. I mean, so I think they were tying things in where this is supposed to be, the guy who plays him is supposed to be a representation of Patrick Mahomes becoming the new great, and then Tom Brady, which he has all the Super Bowl rings and all that, and his wife was literally a witch, and him taking the mantle from him. Well, in this version, they have this very bloody fight. That's the reason why you see all the blood all over him in this cover of the movie. And with that blood all over him is supposed to symbolize him going into this new him fighting for the new GOAT, because he basically had to kill Marlon's character to become the new GOAT. I myself, I'll continue explaining everything kind of that happened, and I'll kind of go into my whole diatribe of what I think on it. uh, he, hold on one second. Okay, so sorry about that. Now, he fights through them, and they basically tell him, hey, you need to make this choice. And even if you look, if you can see, if you pull up this picture, you'll notice the cheerleaders, all their faces are blank, like they don't have actual real faces. And in the thing, they do that also. They're wearing like some weird mask. And he comes out to seeing that all of these the owners of this team are the Illuminati, and basically he needs to make this decision to become a part of Illuminati. Well, instead, if he doesn't do it, then it's this that same character or the person who was dressed up in whatever who attacks him in the first place is the same one who who tries to attack him there. He takes that one out and then decides to go on a rampage and kills off the Illuminati people. The one person is left, and supposedly now that spirit, that evil spirit, which they were trying to sacrifice to and all that, kills the girl, kills the wife because they guess they couldn't get him to sign. Or no, it wasn't the wife. Kills another one of the Illuminati people because they couldn't get him to sign. And it kind of leaves it open-ended what happens at the end. Well, my issue with it is, for one, if the new goats had to be killed off for the new goat to take over, that would be pretty obvious if you have this superstar quarterback athlete who all of a sudden every single one of them has to die off for a new one to crop up. That would be pretty odd. So I thought that was very clunky how they did that, and I didn't like that. I felt that that's definitely not the way it goes. And if that happens at all, but for the people who think, oh, they revealed what the Illuminati's really doing, no, because you don't see any examples of any top athlete who dies off because he had to be sacrificed for the new goat to have room to come in. Another thing is, they made all the so-called Illuminati people be all a part of just this one team, the Saviors. If that is the case, then how does any other team win Super Bowls or anything? I felt if you were going to make it this Illuminati angle, you should have made it the commissioner and all of the teams being involved in it. Whereas these other teams are basically complicit in allowing him to win occasionally and lose occasionally. And there being multiple people who are under this Illuminati mantle, not just this one Illuminati. And I felt if somebody believes that that's the Illuminati trying to tip their hand, I felt like, if anything, that's kind of to run people astray, to throw them off the scent, because that theory doesn't track for me. Because you make it now the Illuminati is all about one team and not about the whole entire league, which it would have to be more about the entire league and multiple players, not just one player. Because even if you do have that one great quarterback, you still need a great quarterback, a great defense, a great line. You need more. And I didn't like the fact that they didn't put any, it's like very little football in a movie that's supposed to be about football. Now I get it. The whole point was this whole Illuminati angle and all that they wanted to do. But they still could have done that with making it feel more of a football movie. It felt like a movie about football and Illuminati who's somebody who doesn't know very much about football, and doesn't know very much about the league or any kind of how Illuminati would be. It just seems like something to kind of get people who are into that lane to be like, ooh, look what they're doing over here. I felt it was very ham-fisted the way they did a lot of these things, and it didn't really lay out how I would think things would go. You said football is an invention of Freemasonry. Is it not in baseball? Technically, all of this stuff is, because most of these leaders of the countries are all Freemasons. So technically, yes. But I think early football was not really as much, because the game was very simplistic. It's become something very different than what it started as, whereas baseball is very similar to where it started at. It's just gotten more complex, but the game hasn't changed very much from the way it used to be played. I mean, you still have all basically the same positions. You have the pitching has gotten different over the years. The different bats and equipment has gotten different, but football is like changed in multiple ways. Football didn't used to be a game where they threw it. It used to be mostly just running and kind of more akin to rugby. Whereas the game has definitely dramatically changed from rugby to a lot more, I would say a lot more violent than rugby, because people who watch rugby and don't watch football and don't know really the difference. They see these big guys and they're plowing into each other and they think, oh, well, they don't have pads on. That's a whole lot more rough. And it's like, no, you don't realize. When you tackle, because growing up, like we play tackle without pads. We go find a park and play that way. You don't run at somebody full speed as hard when you're not wearing pads, for one. You don't run in to tackle somebody nearly as hard. And you might get slammed on the ground kind of rough and things like that, but you're not running at each other the same way you do in NFL or football in general. When you have pads on, you run at somebody at full speed. You don't slow down. You hit somebody as hard as possible, because your false comfort in these pads making you feel like you're going to be protected means you throw a lot more caution to the wind. Also in rugby, you don't have as many times where somebody's going to be running from 20 yards, building up full top speed and hitting you, sometimes blindsiding you. So there's things about it that's going to be different. Oh, good night, Jackie. I'm sorry if I missed that, but good night. It said, Yonina says, also, I think Jordan is still salty because Ryan got the bid for his scripts to send. Maybe, but you got to remember, Jordan Peele only was the executive producer. He didn't write or direct any of this. And it felt like a wannabe Jordan Peele movie, but not quite executed to the level of Jordan Peele. To me, in some parts of this movie, it even felt a little low budget. How they kind of showed his upbringing at the house, how they cut out a lot of football. And what that showed me is that's a good way to limit cast. You don't have to have you don't have to take the time of getting a college football stadium and getting a whole bunch of extras in there, and the stunt work involved with having it look realistic like an actual football game. You alleviated a whole lot of that. Also keeping most of it basically in one location, being Marlon Wayans' like home away from home practice facility. And then even when he had the meeting with the Illuminati, it was in like basically almost like a little small lodge that you would have, or like a VFW kind of lodge. And so that wouldn't cost very much money to film in there. So it didn't give this grandiose feel like you would have in like an Eyes Wide Shut of going to this big, huge, fancy party. And And so in that way, those were things I didn't. I don't know. I did not like that it didn't feel like the Illuminati felt kind of cheap. It felt like even the Illuminati was on a budget, and it didn't seem like their influence was as pervasive as many of us would think. They could have showed scenes even when he's dealing with the press or endorsements that basically that they were even involved in this. Whereas from watching it, I got the feel that only that main quarterback is involved, maybe a couple of his receivers, they might know a little bit about what's going on. And then the owners of this one team, and in NFL, there's 32 teams. So if you have 32 teams and only one is involved in this whole Illuminati thing, and they're given this great advantage, then they should just win every Super Bowl. If that was the real reality and that one team won every Super Bowl, that would get pretty boring really fast. So it didn't feel very well done, although I did like the original idea. And I do not feel like this was a great Illuminati type movie. Although I know people will disagree with me, and that's perfectly fine, but I just felt like it threw very, very what we would think stereotypical Illuminati stuff, which is very easily recognizable to everybody who believes in any form of Illuminati, the stereotypical stuff that most people would think. And it didn't give any kind of new curveballs or new things for us to digest. So for me, I still love the movie because of the creativity of the idea, the acting, the cinematography of some of the stuff was really good, but it had some areas that were just confusing. They go out like skeet shooting, and one of the persons that or I don't even know if it's skeet shooting, whatever it is, and he shoots this mascot or whatever, and it just got weird. I don't know what the hell was going on with that. It felt like a bunch of different people writing and throwing ideas in that just didn't feel like they all clicked together. Kersey says, because of this movie, I learned that football was a game created by Civil War veterans who wanted to make sure they were raising a generation of toughed up men. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The football itself, I don't feel like that's some kind of Illuminati thing, because this was created by, guys who are out there front lines. And those are the types of people who, even if they were Illuminati, they're so low level that they wouldn't even know about all the kind of real secrets of the Illuminati up to the levels of presidents and stuff. Well, Jordan Peele didn't. You got to remember, like an executive producer basically like green lights stuff, and they help you get things started, and then they walk away from the project. They're not sitting there on the set, literally like helping you how you should direct it and giving you ideas on that. So it's not that Jordan Peele didn't want to release nothing too deep. Also, I kind of went through this talking about this not that long ago, but I don't believe that the Illuminati would be too scared to release anything. Why? What's going to happen? Most people are still not going to believe it, and of the people who do believe it, what are they going to do? They can't stop it. So about him releasing too much, that it would there's not too much he can release, because it ain't like nobody's going to be able to do anything to stop him. It is what happened with the Patriots for a while. They did have a time when they were winning and all that, but once Tom Brady left the Patriots, he went on to win with Tampa Bay also and made them a dynasty. Well, not a dynasty, but he made them the top team. But you have years and years and years where some teams will have this kind of that's what I'm saying. If they would have made it where it was the NFL itself picking a person to make them this GOAT, that would have made more sense than making it one team. Because Well, even then, in those years, you had where, and that's what I'm saying, by making it this one GOAT, you had years where Troy Aikman was the top man, and at the same time, you had Steve Young who crossed town. I mean, you every year, I'll say every kind of generation, you always have a crop of quarterbacks or who are like the top 5, like top quarterbacks. And some years this one's winning, some years that one's winning, some years this random team wins it. And so it's never like just this one guy who's winning everything all the time. Brady was kind of more of an exception. But you can't go back and find any other quarterback who's won like 8 Super Bowls. I mean, Brady's like the only one. I mean, in fact, let me look it up to be certain and give you guys. Let's see. QB's most Super Bowl wins. So, yeah, Tom Brady with 7, Joe Montana with 4, Terry Bradshaw with 4, Aikman with 3, Patrick Mahomes with 3. And it's not showing anymore. And there has to be a couple more who've won multiple Super Bowls. But right there, that's only showing what? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's more than that, though. Because I know for a fact Steve Young won multiple Super Bowls. Steve Young won 3 Super Bowls also. Who else I can bring up? I know there's some other quarterbacks who've won. Okay, Doug Williams won 1. But, that's another one. Brett Favre. Let's see. Let the Packers do. What? He only has 1? Oh, I guess Brett Favre only had 1. Well, I think Aaron Rodgers has multiple Super Bowls, I'm sure. No, I guess I'm wrong. I guess he only has 1. But there are multiple quarterbacks that have multiple who were winning quarterbacks at the same time, who were winning Super Bowls at the same time that other quarterbacks were winning Super Bowls too. It just looks like there's maybe only about 6 or 7 quarterbacks all time that have had multiple Super Bowls like that. In fact, let me look back to let's see, what was it? Bart Starr. Let me see. Bart Starr had 2 Super Bowl rings. So you guys get my point. Like, there were multiple quarterbacks who won multiple Super Bowls, and some of them played at the same time period. So to make one player this one GOAT didn't add up for me. But, that's just my take on it. I felt it was a good original idea, but they could have done more with it, and I would have liked to have seen more out of it. But yeah, on that note, I think I will go ahead and end this. I don't know. I guess I'll probably do it on my own, but I'll probably do some testing to see if I can get this figured out for next show for my soundboard. It looks like my signal is held up well throughout the show, and so that is great news. So I guess I'll be back to being able to use my mic. Thank goodness. I've been missing using my mic. I don't know if you guys noticed the difference or not. I guess I'll go back and listen to parts of the episode and see if it sounds different, or if I just have the mic for having it. We'll see. But that said, this has been the Political Matrix. I'm your host, Marcus Young Morpheus Cage. So glad that we had Teal come through. It was definitely a lot of fun. And much appreciation to all you guys for taking the time to spend it with us on Saturday night. You could have spent it anywhere else, but you spent it with us, and we appreciate you so much. So make sure you guys be safe out there. For you guys football fans, good luck to your teams, except for yours, Jonina. No, I'm just playing. And I might have a collaboration coming up with somebody else, another channel soon. I will let you guys know as soon as I know about that. And that's it. We are.
There is discrimination in this world, and slavery and slaughter and starvation. Governments repress their people. Millions are trapped in poverty, while the nation grows rich, and wealth is lavished on armaments everywhere. These are differing evils, but they are the common works of man. They reflect the imperfection of human justice, the inadequacy of human compassion, our lack of sensibility towards the suffering of our fellows. But we can perhaps remember, even if only for a time, those who live with us are our brothers, that they share with us the same short moment of life, that they seek as we do, nothing but the chance to live out their lives in purpose and happiness, winning what satisfaction and fulfillment they can.